is committed to Hoosier youth and their educators.
We all had the same goals at the start of the session, to have a balanced budget without gimmicks and to fund our critical priorities, and there's no more critical priority than K-12 education.
So Indiana funds a public education to the tune of $736 million. It keeps 11% of funding or more in the state's reserves each year and maintains that state's AAA credit rating. The state of Illinois ready to take the next step with legalized hemp. The governor's office yesterday saying the state is accepting applications from farmers who want to grow hemp. Some farmers hope to be able to cash in as another crop for their rotation. There's a push at the Illinois Capitol to pay workers on state projects every week. 2 Chicago Democrats are pushing a plan to pay everyone who works on a state building project within 7 days. Also in Springfield, a proposed Illinois graduated income tax package is moving toward the Senate floor. 3 measures include repeal of the Illinois state tax and a conditional property tax freeze are all part of that package, all 3 passing with 0 Republican votes. The owners of Westlake Hospital are being allowed to close that Melrose Park medical facility. The Illinois Health Facilities and Services Review Board yesterday voting in favor of the closure. Large group of students at Homewood Flossmoor High School are taking action over social media postings showing white classmates wearing blackface. Hundreds walked out of class yesterday to protest images that surfaced online. Over the weekend, some of the demonstrators believe the students who use blackface should have been kicked out. Cubs shortstop Addison Russell will be optioned to AAA Iowa when he's eligible to return from his suspension this week. Team says it's a baseball decision, but Russell is finishing a 40-game suspension for violating Major League Baseball's domestic abuse policy. Kyle Schwarber hit a go-ahead 2-run home run in the 8th inning. Cubs edged the Mariners 6-5 in Seattle. Schwarber says it's always nice to come through in the clutch.
Oh, good. I mean, those are moments that you all live for, and especially a baseball player where you hit a late inning RBI or late inning home run and takes the lead. Those are the things baseball players live for.
Well, they're so rare you hardly ever see them anymore. A twilight doubleheader. Sox and Orioles today because of last night's rainout. First pitch at 3:10. And look who's the newest member of the 3,000 Strikeout Club. CC Sabathia last night. The news service of Dairy Queen. Hey, DQ fans, summer blizzard menu turning up the sweet this season with new flavors like brownie dough, caramel cannonball, Oreo cookie jar, and returning favorites like s'mores and summer berry cheesecake. Only at your DQ. Happy tastes better. 5:09. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder believes we won't see an end to the media's attack on the president.
And Wolf Blitzer this afternoon?
In his announcement statement, Biden pointed to the 2017 supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. President Trump at the time defended his comment that there were very fine people on both sides.
They are just going to keep doing it. Wolf Blitzer, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. Spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy.
With more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8, a great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com.
512, a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Well, the floodwaters are rising this morning in Lombard. 53 is closed between Park Boulevard and Butterfield. In Orland Park, closures of 135th between Harlem and Ridgeland. Of Southwest Highway, 135th and 143rd. And of Wolf Road, 143rd and 151st. Downtown Chicago, West Loop, Jefferson's block between Adams and Monroe. A broken water main which buckled the pavement. 8094 has delays westbound Klein to Kennedy after an earlier crash. Eastbound, it's heavy Indianapolis Boulevard, Kennedy. Speeds are reduced on all the roads due to the conditions. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A flash flood watch in effect this morning. Clouds and breezy, occasional rain and a thunderstorm this morning. A shower thunderstorm this afternoon, the high 60. Cloudy tonight, low 42, and then rain tomorrow with a high at 55. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Light rain, 48 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
It's gonna be May.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. But in for Amy this morning is Carol Roth. She, of course, CNBC contributor.
Fox now.
Oh, Fox. Yeah, right. You flipped over. It used to be CNBC. You upgraded to Fox. Podcaster. The Roth Effect is your podcast.
Correct.
All right. Raconteur. Jack of all trades.
Jill of all trades.
Jill of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Jack.
We don't see gender.
Depending on the day. We don't.
We don't see gender.
We're very
on
neutral
the gender
here.
fluid.
Yes.
I'm not saying that we're experiencing an end of times deluge, but on the way up to Kennedy, I did see a dude in an arc. So we're about 40 days short of the record, or I'm sorry, about 36 days short of the 40-day record, as far as I understand it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're in May now, and once again have had 1 day of spring, I believe.
Well, the good news is the snow has stopped.
We think.
So you have that going for you.
At least today.
Now, down on the south suburbs, the protestations have not stopped because apparently Homewood Flossmoor is a community of community activists and not of adults in charge of a school. And so yesterday, as we discussed on the show, the walkout that we talked about did happen. About 1,000 students took out to the streets late morning. Police were there to prevent them from going onto the roadways and
generally wreaking havoc.
Well, yeah, I guess I would like to say interfering with traffic, but we're talking about the south suburbs.
Right.
Nobody's there. So, of course, the police didn't do that. So the kids had their way, just like they do in school, apparently.
As promised, they walked out. Around noon, Homewood Flossmoor High School students left the building. Within minutes, about 1,000 kids spilled onto Kedzie Avenue demanding justice as they squeezed around police officers who were supposed to keep the students from leaving school grounds.
It's quite a big turnout, and I'm very happy with the results because this is something that's systematically happening in America now.
What is? This black kids in blackface is something that's systematically happening in America today?
I love the fact that anyone's pretending that it's anything but other than a reason to get out of school. I mean, if I was a kid and they were protesting anything, I'd be like, yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm in the streets. I'm there. I'm with you. What is it? Great. Let's go for it.
You would be chanting, "We want justice." Right along with them.
Whatever it takes to get out of class if you're in high school.
It's not a very good example you're setting.
No, it wasn't, but that's what high school is about.
And this is a big thing to the kids.
The administration is like honestly making it up to be such not a big thing, and when it really is.
It's a big thing, and they're sort of cobbling together their list of demands in real time. It's sort of a spitballing event, that walkout as well, because here's something the school should do that it doesn't do, in addition to bring justice, apparently in some form or fashion, to this matter.
All of our history classes, we learn about wars, fights, all these other things, but we never get that deep into black history.
Yeah, I think they should put that in like the curriculum of having like the African American history class.
The guy who wants to put in the curriculum is a dead ringer for Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah.
Dude, I got a pizza coming for me. They didn't ask for pizza, and they didn't ask for a hot tub in the cafeteria, so I feel like their list of demands could have been a lot better, Dan.
312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Your impressions of the walkout, what would you tell your kid if he or she were a student at HF about the walkout and the whole matter?
But you have to feel bad for the kids these days, because before, when you did something stupid, you had to wait, decades for somebody to be able to pull out your yearbook when you were running for office in order to find the pictures of the stupid things you were doing. Now, people can see that real time, and it's a challenge for kids to navigate that.
Well, okay. But I still, my question really less about the kids and more about the adults. Are there any?
No, well, clearly we know that there are no adults.
The adults in charge of the school system, the superintendent and the principal, they did release a video. They're going to talk about this incident in English class today, apparently.
Are they going to have an assembly?
I don't know that an assembly
They should have an assembly.
Yet.
They should have an assembly about it. Get the whole school together, get that kumbaya going, let everybody do the chants, and have another reason to get out of classes. That's what I would advocate for.
Here's the thing. Here's what I mean when I say an adult, any adults in charge, including the parents of the offending students, as we discussed yesterday, to short circuit the circus by bringing the kids forward, having them apologize, having them make some sort of restitution, psychic or otherwise, but, try to achieve genuine reconciliation and move on. Recognize they did something stupid, they did something wrong, they did something that is substantively offensive, wrong, and have it be something that turns out to be sort of I hate to be trite, but a coming together moment for the school.
Right. Right, and not turning it into an opportunity to virtue signal and to jump on the we are victim type of mentality and turn it into a bigger deal than it actually is.
Right, well, have all the students that are walking out do their best impersonations of an MSNBC host. Right, I mean, it's parroting the pablum you hear from a Maddow or a Reverend Al or whoever. My friend alerted me to a similar story. Father Ray Grant, who was an institution at St. Ignatius. This is back in the 60s. He was there for like 60 years. Father Ray Grant got wind of black students at St. Ignatius planning a walkout to protest racism of the time. And so he got wind of it. He showed up to the bus stop, waited for the students that were being bused to St. Ignatius, The bus pulled up to the Roosevelt Road station, door open, and Father Grant said, "Where are you gentlemen going?" They turned around, got back on the bus, and kept going. Went to school. The point of the story is not that there are not issues for which kids can get involved in protests. The point of the story is school is about school. Parents were sacrificing, in the case of Segregation, send their kids there to the school. And the last thing that Father Grant was going to do was allow kids to disrespect their parents' sacrifice by not attending class. In addition to that, the relationship that Father Grant had with the students was one of mutual respect. He respected them and treated them as Christian gentlemen. They respected him because he did so. And so when Father Grant showed up and said, "Where do you think you're going?" he had the standing to have them voluntarily turn around and say, well, if Father Grant says no, then it's a no for now.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's also interesting in terms of the whole, apology tour and who deserves an apology. Obviously, these kids did something wrong. It's a teachable moment, but they did something wrong in the big picture. They didn't wrong an individual. So who exactly are they apologizing?
Well, yeah, I mean, right. To the extent we don't know this video, one of the students apparently said some derogatory things about an African-American woman or African-American women generally, whatever that was. If there's somebody that was named and treated unfairly, then you can...
Sure, then you can make the restitution with that specific
sure.
person.
Now, and again, this is a community school that's 80% black. The student body is 80% black. So, I mean, ostensibly, there's a lot of offended parties, and you don't have to be black to say, well, that's a stupid thing.
Absolutely.
And I understand that's offensive. We've talked about it before in the context of, our leading lights of the left, your governors of Virginia and the like. But, there's just nobody who should be in charge who's intervening to resolve it.
No,
because
they don't want resolution.
Well, right, but the kids don't want it because this is an opportunity for a lot of reasons, some of which you said that have nothing to do with race. And also they can impersonate what they see at the national level and in our politics. But the adults are like you have on college campuses, ceding control of the high school to the students and have no moral authority with the students, clearly.
No, because the parents have no moral authority with the kids. They want to be their kids' best friends instead of their parents and adults. And that starts and is bred in the house. And that certainly carries over into the school. And when you have kids who are raised not to respect authority, you can't imagine that they're going to walk into the school and all of a sudden respect authority. And it's, invaded the fabric of our society.
I can't wait to find out that one of the kids' parents, the offending kids' parents, at their home has a "hate has no home here" sign in their yard. I guarantee it. I can almost guarantee it. Jim in Crown Point.
About 3 years ago, there was a group of like 40 black kids. They all wore white shirts, and they went into the loop and just randomly beat up white people. The incident was reported as a group of kids. They did not mention color, the news media. I think that would be an important thing, that they all were dressed the same. So if you walked into that, you could avoid it. We have a tendency to paint everybody with a broad brush. You have to take individuals. Those kids were stupid, but that was 4 kids. And all of a sudden, every white person now is that.
Yep, thanks for the call, Jim.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The company began when Windows 95 was still singing Start Me Up and Novell servers were in vogue. Always learning since the day the doors opened and consistently finding technological solutions for those they serve. They've been through more iterations of operating systems than one would care to remember. Constantly changing and evolving to stay best in technological breed for decades. People serving people and leaving technological footprints for nearly 25 years. They're not afraid of technology and embrace its ever-changing life cycle. They know IT, they live IT, and they want to be your information technology partner. From help desk to Office 365 to desktop support and cloud solutions, they've got you covered. Turnkey IT, to make your company better, stronger, and ready to compete and win. Turnkey.pro.
Hey, if you're looking to refinance your existing home, then you need to call Team Hochberg. Ben, he's been hearing about Team Hochberg ads for years, so naturally he called Team Hochberg to refinance. Wrong. Ben called his current lender, Bank of America, who quoted Ben a higher rate and closing costs $4,000 greater than Team Hochberg's. Needless to say, Team Hochberg and not Bank of America is refinancing Ben's home. And your current lender is a business trying to make as much money as possible and not your friend. Team Hochberg offers low rates and closing costs because they don't have multiple layers of expensive overhead as banks do. To ensure you secure the lowest rate and closing costs, do yourself a favor, call Team Hochberg before refinancing with your current lender. If you want to work with a trusted local lender, call Team Hochberg now, 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but guess what? They can't help you if you don't call. That number again, 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019, NMLS 1124061.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's our biggest grill event of the year. The best time to buy the latest grills from our exclusive lineup of premium brands like Weber, Traeger, and more. Get free assembly, free delivery, and free fuel on our top grills and accessories $3.99 and up. And don't miss our Neighborhood Barbecue Fest this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enjoy great grilling demos and expert advice. Only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members through May 31st. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions. Propane tank not included.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Admit it, none of us are eating enough fruits and vegetables on our own, so that's why Balance of Nature is so great. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule. It helps with muscle soreness. It helps boost your energy, helps improve your immune system. It's really great. I love it. You should take it too. And here's what you can do. Just in time for Mother's Day, give the gift of health. Receive an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies that you can purchase. By the way, this offer ends May 10th. So do not wait. Again, from now until May 10th, receive a 15% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature and an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. But again, the offer ends May 10th. Do not wait. Call now, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Carol Roth in for Amy J this morning, and just an addendum to our discussion of Home and Flossmoor. Perhaps there are more important things to focus on in education, and so dispute resolution of matters like what happened at HF with the kids in blackface should be expeditious. Over a 6-year period from 2011 to 2017, only 37.5% of black students enrolled in Illinois' four-year universities managed to successfully complete 4 years of coursework. More than 6 in 10 flunked out. 10,000 of the roughly 16,000 black students enrolled in one of Illinois' 11 state-subsidized four-year universities will flunk out, not preparing kids for post-secondary work. And at NEIU, Northeastern Illinois, and at Chicago State, 9 of 10 black students who were enrolled were failed out.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Staggering.
It is. It is. This is a big scam. We're not in the business of educating kids. We're in the business of creating comfy environments for the adults.
Well, actually, we're in the business of making administrators have big salaries. I mean, I feel like that's
that
the
too.
business.
Yeah, that right. The adults in the system.
Right.
This is about the adults in the system. It's not about educating kids. And so you're not educating kids. That's a conversation that the political class in the state doesn't want to have, that the race racketeers don't want to have. They want to preen for the cameras and try to blow up an incident of kids behaving badly into something of international import. Coming up at 5:38, we're going to talk Venezuela. What should the U.S. do to hasten the abdication or demise of Maduro? But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Rain showers, 43 degrees. And this morning, an emergency in downtown Davenport, Iowa. Many parts of that city are underwater, and the Mississippi River has yet to top out in the Quad Cities. The river overwhelmed flood barriers and levees in Davenport yesterday. Heavy rain is causing flooding here in the Chicago area. Flash flood watches and warnings are in effect for much of the area until 11 a.m. A vigil is planned for today on the campus of the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, where the shooting on Tuesday upended the last day of class. The suspected gunman is in police custody. 22-year-old Tristan Terrell was arrested after investigators say he opened fire on campus yesterday, killing 2 and injuring 4.
A student should not have to fear for his or her life when they're on our campuses. Parents should not have to worry about their students when they send them off to school. North
Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, University Police Chief Jeff Baker says his officers were able to respond quickly.
We responded. We were able to get into the building quick enough to where we actually took custody of the suspect. He was disarmed and he was taken into custody.
Baker would not say anything about a possible motive in the attack. Attorney General Bill Barr will talk about the Mueller report this morning in the hot seat before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Venezuelans filling the streets again today, and opposition leader Juan Guaido promising the largest march in the country's history. This comes after Guaido yesterday called for Venezuela's military to force out President Nicolas Maduro. National Security Advisor John Bolton briefed reporters.
We see this now as a potentially dispositive moment in the efforts of the Venezuelan people to regain their freedom, which we fully support.
Speaking outside of the White House yesterday, oil prices are down again for the 4th day in a row. International benchmark crude and West Texas Intermediate are down sharply this morning. Authorities investigating a deadly crash involving 2 semis on westbound 8094 in northwest Indiana near Calumet Avenue. And 2 groups of union workers in Chicago are expected to hit the picket lines today. Clerical and technical staff at the city colleges of Chicago have gone on strike. They have been working without a contract, they say, for nearly 3 years. Kyle Schwarber, a go-ahead 2-run home run in the 8th inning. Cubs edge the Mariners 6-5 in Seattle. And it's a rare sight, a twilight doubleheader for the White Sox and Orioles tonight after last night's game was rained out. Our time is 5:34. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
You've seen them in some of the finest homes, and now you too can add a beautiful sliding barn door to your home or business with styles that range from rustic to contemporary. Chicago Barn Door Company in Addison has barn doors made with new or authentic barnwood on display at one of the only showrooms of its kind in the area. We can also help you with reclaimed barnwood flooring, accent walls, and fireplace mantles. We cater to homeowners, designers, architects, or anyone that wants to add the warmth and charm of wood accents to their home or business. Chicago Barn Door Company offers expert advice with design, hardware, and installation to your complete satisfaction. Stop by and bring your ideas to the showroom in Addison. We have barn doors, barnwood accent walls, mantles, walnut slabs, and more. Information and directions are available at chicagobarndoor.com or check us out on Facebook. See, touch, and feel the charm of barnwood for an experience that you just can't get online at Chicago Barn Door Company. a family-owned business right here in Addison, Illinois. Again, for directions to our showroom, visit chicagobarndoor.com.
As many as 25,000 Chicagoans have Charcot-Marie tooth disease. CMT is inherited and causes deterioration of the nerves that control muscle function of the foot and lower leg and hand and forearm. This deterioration is progressive, so the effects on your body get worse as you grow older, leading to significant problems with movement, touch, and balance as it advances. There is no treatment to ease the problems, and there is no cure for CMT. But you can help the CMT Research Foundation find a cure for CMT and have a great time doing it. Sign up to play in the CMT Research Foundation's Golf Challenge, being held Monday, June 24th at the Merritt Club in Libertyville, Illinois. Space is limited to 25 foursomes and is first come, first serve. Your foursome fee donation also includes lunch and dinner. There will be some great prizes, a putting contest, a closest to the hole contest, and 4 chances to win a brand new BMW if you can sink a hole in one. For more information, call Pat Livney, CMT Research Foundation Chairman and Founder, at 847-609-8525.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Flight boards at O'Hare show more than 40 cancellations this morning. There's 16 at Midway. There's flooding in Lombard. 53 is closed between Park Boulevard and Butterfield. In Orland Park, 135th is closed between Parliament Ridgeland. Southwest Highway is closed. 143rd, 135th. Closure of Wolf, 151st up to 143rd. Traffic's heavy on the inbound Eisenhower around Des Plaines Avenue. Outbound, there's a 2-minute delay, Wolf to the Tri-State. On Stevenson, already 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, there's a delay as well. Kedzie to Pulaski, crash the 2 left lanes. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 20 minutes, 8094 to the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, breezy day ahead. Even more rain and a thunderstorm. Again, watch out for that low-lying flooding. Flash flood watches and warnings are in effect until 11 a.m. with a high near 60. Currently 48. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Carol Roth, Fox News contributor and podcaster. The Roth Effect is her podcast. You want to check that out. And we want to check out what's happening in Caracas in Venezuela, where Guaido and his allies picked yesterday as a moment to try to rally the entire populace against Maduro, to try to secure more defections from the military and topple the regime before either the rebellion loses steam or Maduro is able to enlist enough of the military to establish even more of a dictatorship than he has now, and really force that country into years of authoritarian depravity.
I mean, they've been through years of authoritarian depravity. I mean, this was a country, staggering statistic. If you go back to like the 1950s, Venezuela had the 4th largest GDP in the entire world and was an incredibly prosperous country. And ever since the Chavez regime, it just sort of started taking this down a path of a downward spiral. And basically
Obama's buddy, Chavez.
Sean Penn, Michael Moore.
Sure,
he was the darling of Hollywood.
Venezuela, I remember the piece. The author was a guy named Saratka in Salon.com. 2015. The Venezuelan Miracle. It's a model for the left.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, if you go back to the words that Chavez used to sort of preach his populist message, he said it wasn't going to be pure socialism. It was going to be a quote-unquote third way, which was a combination of socialism and capitalism. Does this sound familiar to you, Dan?
I'll tell you, he's inspired a lot of Democrat socialist candidates for president of the United States, hasn't he?
It certainly has. And unfortunately, ever since Maduro's been in place, he saw that scheme collapse on him. And, I would say this authoritarian depravity has been happening basically the entire time he's been in power.
Well, sure. And the question is, can you topple him? I mean, remember, this geopolitically, this is a Cuban-backed regime that's getting military aid from Russia. And that's the issue that Mike Pompeo, our Secretary of State, addressed when he was on with Wolf Blitzer yesterday.
Is the United States prepared to do if Maduro arrests Guaido?
Well, I'm not going to get into specifics, but we've made very clear we would consider that a major escalation. Wolf, we've watched throughout the day. It's been a long time since anyone has seen Maduro. He had an airplane on the tarmac. He was ready to leave this morning, as we understand it, and the Russians indicated he should stay. We think the situation remains incredibly fluid. We know that there were senior leaders inside the Maduro government that were prepared to leave. They told us as much over the past few weeks, and we're convinced that the Venezuelan people are going to get their democracy back.
So if you say he was getting ready to head over to the airport and the Russians talked him out of it, are the Russians responsible now for what's going on?
We've made clear all along, Wolf, that Maduro is surrounded by Cubans and has been supported by Russians there in Venezuela. And we've told the Russians and we've told the Cubans that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to starve people. It's unacceptable to allow sick children not to be able to get their medicine. The nations of the region, the Lima Group, the Organization of American States are all demanding that we get democracy restored and that we get dignity back to this once great nation.
That's a lot of tough talk you're hearing from politicians, including some neocons, Marco Rubio, Adam Kinzinger, and others, about the Maduro regime. But other than the sanctions that have been imposed, the squeezing of the regime in Caracas economically, what is it you're willing to have Americans do? What would you support if to Wolf Blitzer's question, if, say, Guaido was arrested and imprisoned?
Well, it's interesting because Donald Trump tweeted yesterday a tweet directed at Cuba that if they didn't get their butts out of the way, that he was going to levy economic sanctions. Now, it's interesting that was directed towards Cuba. There has been absolutely nothing that was directed towards Russia within the same manner.
Well, okay. I mean, the Maduro regime is sponsored by Cuba, mainly. Russia is a military aid partner, but sanctions have been imposed on Russia for all sorts of other matters, including Syria. I don't know. And frankly, Putin inner circle oligarchs and plutocrats as well. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. How far should America go to expedite the end of the Maduro regime? Military?
I mean, I am one of those that you don't go, either you go all in or you don't go in at all. And I don't like getting involved in other people's business. I think this has been a mistake that we've made over and over and over again. We have enough problems of our own to deal with, including the crisis at the border. I don't think it's a good use of our resources to get involved there. I have a big heart. I feel terribly for the people of Venezuela. I hope something positive comes out of this. I do not think it's our problem. What do you think, Dan?
I think one of the things that we could do is help undo what the Venezuelan government did to the Venezuelan people. Disarm them. Less than a decade ago, Venezuela banned private citizens from owning guns. So guess who is the sole repository of guns? I mean, at least, minus perhaps some that are held illicitly in private hands.
But I thought this could never happen. I thought that in modern day that there is no tyrannical government and there's no way that the government could come and in a short period of time take away everybody's guns and then use that against them.
Boy,
I keep hearing that.
How insightful were our founders? Don't listen to me. Listen to Kerry Sanders, MSNBC reporter. The Point man reporting on Venezuela for MSNBC. Listen to what he accidentally said.
Despite the pressure, with the help of Russia and other outside forces, Maduro is hanging on. not only hanging on, but he appears to still control the military. You have to understand, in Venezuela, gun ownership is not something that is open to everybody. So if the military have the guns, they have the power. And as long as Nicolas Maduro controls the military, he controls the country.
He who has the guns has the power. Huh.
Go figure.
Interesting. So then, if law-abiding citizens have guns for the means of self-protection, then they have the power. And do law-abiding citizens want to have the power?
You mean like a well-regulated militia?
Yeah. I mean, like an individual right, as the Supreme Court has so invade.
It's an interesting question that you posed, Dan.
It's in 2013, 37 weapons were handed over voluntarily when the 2012 law passed banning private ownership.
Wait, what was the number?
37. 12,500 were confiscated by force. So that's how it goes.
Interesting.
That's how it goes. So when you hear here in the United States, the gun banners talk about voluntarism. I mean, not Eric Swalwell, who's willing to nuke gun owners. Okay, presidential candidate.
They ask why does anybody need an AR-15?
Mm-hmm. But this is where they ultimately get to. This is the only way it's going to happen, and that's what happened in Venezuela. That's part of the story. Actually, Steven Crowder, he doesn't do much for me normally.
I like Steven.
Okay, well, all right. You know, you Fox people hang together. I get it. But he had a great 50-second riff on guns and all the specious arguments on guns advanced by the left. Listen up.
Assault weapons are not an actual thing. Mass shootings are on the decline. The United States does not actually have the most mass shootings in the world. All pistols are some form of semi-automatic. An AR-15 is actually not a military weapon. States with the United States stricter gun control laws have not statistically reduced crime. Gun control measures at large have actually proven to be not effective in reducing violent crime. The United States, by the way, does not have the highest violent crime rate in the industrialized world. Most of the statistical gun deaths that you actually read about include suicides. That's something I didn't tell you. Guns save millions more lives than they ever take, according to the FBI, anywhere from 200,000 to 3 million. Plus, by the way, none of this matters because the Second Amendment ensures your right to self-preservation, period, including firearms, period. And yes, that extends beyond muskets to high-capacity guns that were around back then, like the Pelton flintlock, the buckle gun, the pepperbox revolver. And by the way, you're an asshole for exploiting this senseless tragedy to try and forcibly strip us of our human rights regardless. Okay, on with the show. Does that about cover it? I think that's about it. You pieces of human
Blow, yeah, okay.
Fact check.
Little fired up.
True, and true.
Little fired up about the, AOC tweeting about gun control legislation in the wake of synagogue shootings and the like, and understandably. Right.
Well, it's not just her. I mean, it's anybody who has the opportunity to jump on a tragedy. No more thoughts and prayers. We need action now. Every single time, like a broken record.
So gun control, excuse me, gun banning, which is sort of a synonym for gun control.
Which is really, really, really fierce gun control.
Yes. That happened in Venezuela 7 years ago. Also, excellent piece in National Review by Roberto Gonzalez and Liza Gellerman of the Human Rights Foundation, the economic policies that were pursued.
Yes.
Venezuela fair price law, capped the price of goods and services, established a sentence of up to 14 years in prison for those caught hoarding, overcharging, trafficking food. Words that the left uses in this country all the time. Gouging.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take a step back and what started this all, it was we're rich in oil. People aren't getting their fair share. We're going to, get everybody a piece of the action here. They nationalized more than 1,000 companies or assets of companies. And like you said, put in place very strict, oppressive regulation, including monetary regulation. And the fact of the matter is, every single time we have seen this story, it does not work. I mean, the hyperinflation that they have in that country, as of, and this was, mid last year, a cup of coffee went from 450 bolivars 2 years prior to 1 million bolivars. I mean, the 450 to 1 million, which, by the way, in U.S. equivalent dollars at the time was 29 cents.
Yeah, I mean, it's Weimar Republic wheeling around your money in wheelbarrows. Here's just the fair price law, though, because this is something that is center cut for the left in this country. Price controls. And they didn't work in Venezuela any better than they did when, say, Nixon tried them in the 70s. The price ceilings led to long queues, empty grocery stores, and ultimately starving citizens.
Yep.
Thus all the reports of chasing around household pets on the streets. I mean, I'm not being flippant about it. It's sad. It's sick. And so much of it is government induced. In fact, all of it is.
It's all government induced. And that, like you said, they don't have access to basic sundries like toilet paper, to health care, and most importantly, to food.
Here's another point to be made, takeaway that can be applied locally. The authors of this piece reference Hayek's explanation of why the worst get on top. So why did they go from Chavez to Maduro? Well, at some point, dictators have to choose between disregard of ordinary morals and failure. Failure meaning loss of power. That's the reason, Hayek argued, that unscrupulous and uninhibited are more likely to stay in power in a society tending towards totalitarianism, which is precisely what you see in Venezuela. And maybe in communities closer to you. Not that there were totalitarian here, but why the worst get on top? You choose between disregard of ordinary morals and loss of power. And the totalitarian, the central planner, the thug, obviously chooses disregard of ordinary morals.
But their entire focus is about collecting power, and that they know better, that they're going to make the best decisions on behalf of the people, and that is just a fancy, immoral way of saying that they are power hungry.
Right, and guess who you surround yourself with? I mean, it's truly a den of thieves. One of Maduro's top advisors, Diosdado Cabello, who's second in command.
Let me guess, he's living large.
He's a drug trafficker.
Oh, go figure.
Like the head of a cartel.
Amazing.
John in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, it's no different than us blockading missiles trying to go into Cuba, because you don't want a communist foothold in Central or South America. I mean, I think that's what the Monroe Doctrine was in reference to, correct? Us trying to keep that influence from progressing and encroaching further closer to our country.
Thanks for the call, John. Chris on the Kennedy.
Well, a similar point. We've got a geostrategic interest in a aligned flank. The Soviets were after this, the Germans were after this, and we shouldn't just think in terms of an ideologically repugnant regime down there. There are active measures that they will take that we have seen out of Nicaragua, out of Honduras. There are folks down there who were embraced by the Obama administration, and we are seeing on our border the fruits of those policies. So I think at the end of, all other efforts, the United States and the OAS, what used to be the Alliance for Progress, we have to vindicate the democratic rights of the Venezuelan people if they're unable to overcome Cuban and Russian intervention.
So per our friend John, about a neo-Monroe Doctrine, not about European colonialism, but about Russian/Cuban colonialism in the Americas, you would use force.
Ultimately, we cannot allow Obama's turning of his back on what happened in our hemisphere. China is down in Peru basically buying the country through low-interest loans. And China has tried desperately to take hold of Brazil. And we're not attuned because we're so preoccupied with, I don't know what, idiotic things. But the other point I want to make is we're changing the name of this country to Berniezuela.
No, not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Thanks for the call, Chris.
But it's
Berniezuela, I like that.
It's interesting. It's always the justification to go in with force that we are somehow the worldwide defenders of democracy, and that has gotten us in trouble many times before, including in Vietnam. I don't think that that's our role. Our role is to basically defend our own country. And if it's a direct threat to our country, then yes, we should be using force. But us be this idea that we are the world police, Team America, as so to speak, as the wonderful guys from South Park, have illustrated, that's not something that we should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, and nobody does geopolitical humor like Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
They don't do. Nobody does any humor like Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Tony on the South Side, the coiner of Tangerine Jesus.
Hello, my friends. Listen, I agree with the first two callers. Yeah, we really got to keep an eye on this. However, maybe a watchful thought, see what we're going to do with this. However, where is that feckless organization called the UN in all this, okay? So every time a Marxist goes wild, which is going to be my new DVD box that I'm putting out.
Sure. I look for the infomercials.
Yeah, look for it on the store shelves. Marxist gone wild, right? So every time a Marxist goes wild, why do we as a country have to intervene all the time? Where is the UN? I mean, seriously. I haven't heard a word of peep out of these people. I mean, like a social club. I don't get the UN. That's my point.
Because the UN is absolutely
Thanks, Tony.
useless. That's sort of a rhetorical question. I mean, at this point, we've already. I basically said that the UN is a complete joke.
Well, it's also a mutual admiration society as it comes to dictators. So why would they intervene in Venezuela?
Correct.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you need to ship sensitive or large and heavy equipment, the DC Group in Elk Grove has the experience and expertise to handle the biggest and most complicated jobs. DC Export and Domestic Packing Inc. was founded in 1974 by the husband and wife team of Dominic and Carol Cacciamiglio. Beginning in a building not much bigger than a 4-car garage, the company now boasts 2 Chicago area facilities totaling 100,000 square feet, plus a 45,000 square foot FTZ warehouse in Greenville, South Carolina. Through these facilities and their long-standing agents, they offer nationwide packing, crating, container, and flat rack loading unloading, as well as warehousing, all with heavy lift capabilities. Other products available include custom-made boxes, crates, skids, and corrosion control solutions. DC Transport was founded in 1991 to meet the growing needs of their customers and provide transportation services throughout North America. From container drayage to super heavy haul loads, DC Transport can help you move just about anything. Go to dcexport.com for more info and to get in touch. dcexport.com.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
The Democrats want to impeach Trump, impeach Barr, impeach everybody. We'll discuss at 6:06, but now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
A flash flood watch for the Chicago area. Deadly semi-crash on I-80-94 causing some major problems this early morning. Man who tried to bomb a Chicago bar had a list of terror attack targets. Illinois' graduated income tax package advances to the Senate floor. Illinois deputies cite hundreds during increased enforcement of Scott's Law. Cubs edge the Mariners. White Sox and Orioles will play a twilight doubleheader today if they can get it in. With that breezy and rainy forecast for us with a morning thunderstorm. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Barr must answer for this. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Jerry Nadler tweeted that. The head of the House Judiciary Committee and other Democrats upset over a letter Special Counsel Mueller wrote to the Attorney General, taking issue with the Barr's summary of his report. The AG will be questioned at the Senate today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, in the letter obtained by the Washington Post, Mueller wrote the Barr summary did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of this office's work and conclusions. A Justice Department spokesperson says Mueller later spoke to Barr on the phone and expressed concern about the media coverage of the obstruction investigation, saying it was misguided. However, Mueller also said he did not believe Barr's summary memo to Congress was inaccurate. The release of the letter coming just hours before Barr's scheduled testimony today before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Dave?
Rachel, it's unclear if Barr will show up for tomorrow's House hearing. If not, he could be subpoenaed by Democrats. 3 students in critical condition in the morning after a shooting at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte that left 2 others dead, yet another injured.
We saw a lot of people running in the library, so we decided to run through the library, and we tried to take cover.
University Police Chief Jeff Baker says they had to act fast.
We were able to get into the building quick enough to where we actually took custody of the suspect. He was disarmed.
He's a 22-year-old student. Tristan Terrell is in custody facing murder and other charges. Another call to protest in Venezuela today from U.S.-backed opposition leader Juan Guaido.
Thousands of opponents of the Maduro regime engaging with rocks and Molotov cocktails with loyalist security forces who at one time actually drove right into the crowd on the streets, running over some people. President Maduro appeared on state television last night, defiant, saying that the skirmishes had been defeated.
Fox's Phil Keating. In Britain, a judge has sentenced WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to 50 weeks in prison for jumping bail back in 2012. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy. We've had heavy rain showers overnight, and thunderstorms are expected later on this morning. In Chicago, we have 48 degrees. It's 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. The National Weather Service says we're having flash flood warnings and watches extended until 11 o'clock this morning because of the heavy rain and rising streams, creeks, and rivers in the area. And this morning, many parts of downtown Davenport, Iowa are underwater after the Mississippi River topped out and overwhelmed flood barriers and levees in the Quad Cities. Authorities continue investigating a deadly crash involving 2 semis on westbound 8094 in northwest Indiana near Calumet Avenue. 2 groups of union workers in Chicago are expected to hit picket lines today. Hundreds of clerical and technical staff at the city colleges of Chicago have gone on strike. They have been working without a contract for nearly 3 years. Bond has been set at $100,000 for a suburban Chicago man who fled in a ride-hailing car after causing a fiery fatal crash on I-55. Rami Mataria faces charges of reckless homicide in the death of Jamie Poulos. The state of Illinois is ready to take the next step with legalized hemp. Governor J.B. Pritzker yesterday said the state will now accept applications from farmers who want to grow hemp. Hundreds of drivers around Illinois dealing with new citations as sheriff's deputies across the state stepped up enforcement of Scott's Law during the month of April. Deputies issuing nearly 450 violations of the move-over law in 36 counties. Chicago sports. Cubs edge the Mariners 6-5. Sox and Orioles with a twilight doubleheader today in Chicago after last night's game was postponed because of rain. And if you're interested, the post positions are set for Saturday's running of the Kentucky Derby. Omaha Beach is the 4-1 morning line favorite. The news, a service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Without the rule of law, we're nothing.
The Joe Walsh Show.
And what makes me sad today is it's all tribal. What side you on? Right now, we got a king in the White House. We got a guy who believes that the laws don't apply to him. And so we're asked all the time, are you with him or are you against him? I'm with the Constitution. I believe in open and transparent government. I believe in a government that leaves me the hell alone. What team does that put me on? Whose tribe am I a part of?
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers might seem the same,
But while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know promotional products work because they're everywhere from sales meetings and corporate events to trade shows. Ever wondered why or how to best use promotional products to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away an ebook called Promotional Products Work, absolutely free, to everyone who texts radio to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free ebook will reveal valuable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, help your cause, or simply grow your business. Get the ebook Promotional Products Work absolutely free by texting radio to 88988. That's RADIO to 88988.
With more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8, a great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com.
It is 6:07. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On the CTA Blue Line, Forest Park-bound trains are standing downtown at Jackson due to police activity. We have flood-related closures in Lombard. 53 is closed. In Park and Butterfield, there are several closures in the southwest suburbs, especially in Orland Park. The closures of 135th, 143rd near Wolf, closures of Wolf and Southwest Highway as well. Kennedy inbound delays start at Canfield, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. On Eisenhower, 35 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 36. Stevenson already 55 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 22 minutes, side to the merge, Bishop Ford, 32. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
A flash flood watch in effect this morning. Rain and a thunderstorm this morning and afternoon. High today 60. Overcast tonight, low 42. Periods of rain tomorrow, the high 55. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
48 at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning. You see her on Fox and Fox Business. Routinely, she is a podcaster, The Roth Effect. She's Carol Roth. Carol, Democrats have a new toehold in their pursuit of impeachment. They've gotten two this week. One is President Trump suing to quash subpoenas that Democrat congressional committees, House Democrat congressional committees have issued for financial records from banks and with respect to all the Trump family's financial dealings, projects. Now they've got Mueller reportedly expressing misgivings, objecting to Attorney General Barr's summary of his report, And this has this against the backdrop of Mueller testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee today, so that should be a complete circus, even though it's Republican controlled. And so this is, we told you, Barr spun the Mueller report, and Barr should be impeached, and Trump should be impeached, and Kavanaugh should be impeached just because while we're at it, why not throw Kavanaugh in too? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line is the exoneration that was extracted from the Mueller report, according to the president. Is that wobbly at all now with Mueller privately objecting to Barr per his characterization of Mueller's report?
You know, I know I should be outraged and annoyed
yeah.
about all this impeachment talk, but there is this like burn it all down anarchist piece of me that says, yes, bring it on, go down this road. The Democrats are always so delusional and never miss an opportunity to just completely screw things up because they don't understand the lay of the land. So that piece of me hopes that they go down this road because that will cement their loss in 2020, like no tomorrow, and potentially into 2024 and beyond. Pelosi say that? Wasn't Pelosi like, well, maybe we should not do this. Maybe we should slow play. It's not for the good of the country. Let's focus on infrastructure. When you've got these people hedging their bets, they know, they're savvy enough to know that this is not a good thing for them. They don't care about the country. For them.
Right. When Pelosi says this is a political question that should not be decided based on politics, which is what she said about impeachment.
It's amazing.
You know that their political standing is not strong enough, and that's the argument that Bill Galston makes. He basically says, look, the country's not there. Though majority of Democrats say they favor impeachment, reports from the grassroots suggest a lack of intensity on the issue. Congressional Democrats conducting town hall meetings have found far more interest in health care, climate change, and living wages than in removing Trump from office before 2020.
Wait, you mean people actually care about what's going on in their pocketbooks and the fact that we have an amazing economy and low unemployment and great opportunities and people are seeing their wages rise, that's actually more important to them than political theater? Say it isn't so, Dan.
Yeah, Congresswoman Katie Porter from Orange County told the New York Times, impeaching the president is not in the top half dozen. It may be down at the number 12 spot.
I don't think so.
Not to mention, with respect to the economy, you know, they have to do a better job, like Biden is attempting to mau the good economy, because they can't, obviously, they can't extol the virtues of the economy's performance under Trump.
He's gaslighting people. He's telling people, you did not get tax cuts when all of the data shows that, you know, empirically, the greater majority of everybody got a tax cut, that you're not getting your fair share when everybody is doing quite well. And so that has to be the tactic. They have to focus on pitting people against each other, because the reality is that people are doing well.
Well, and Jerry Nadler, House Jude chairman, demanded Mueller's letter. Give it. Give it.
Give me. I want it. Mine.
Barr and Mueller spoke by phone, according to those close to Mueller, meaning the Democrats on his investigative team. I don't know. Spoke by phone. Mueller didn't think Barr's letter was inaccurate. He believed the report was more nuanced on the obstruction of justice issue, according to Justice Department officials. Mueller, frustrated by media coverage, wanted more of the report to come out, according to those who spoke with CNN.
It wasn't factually incorrect. It was morally incorrect.
Well, I mean... he wanted more of the report to come out. The whole report was issued. What do you mean more of the report to come out?
Hundreds and hundreds of pages. You can read it all yourself if you'd like to.
I don't understand.
To put yourself through the torture.
I just don't understand. Yes, Barr issues this 4-page summary, and then 4 days later, the entire report comes out.
It lacks nuance. The 4 pages lack nuance. That's what you have the 400-plus page report for. So if you want the nuance, you read the whole report. If you want the condensed version without nuance, the Twitter version, you read the summary.
And the press coverage? The press coverage on CNN and MSNBC and the D.C. press corps generally has been to grab pieces from the report to continue to try to fan the flames for impeachment. So
Of which we just basically determined that nobody cares about, other than the people on MSNBC and CNN, that the American public does not care about this at all. They never cared about this. They certainly don't care about it now.
Here's something else with respect to Mueller, if the reporting is accurate, and I'm not conceding that it is because we know how often it is not. The special counsel believed his report was more nuanced on the obstruction of justice issue. Hey, let me tell you something, counselor. If you didn't want the nuance on the obstruction of issue to be lost, the obstruction of justice issue to be lost, then you should have made a decision on obstruction of justice, which was your charge as the special counsel. So you can't punt the question and then complain about people missing the nuance when you, frankly, abrogated your responsibility as a prosecutor to make a call on obstruction of justice, just as you did on, so-called collusion.
It's a very fair point. It's a very fair point that if you want to make things explicit instead of implicit, you had hundreds of pages to do that. If not, I don't know how you expect that a summary report of 4 pages giving the highlights is supposed to capture that nuance that you think is so dearly missing.
Right. I'm sure there will be less nuance in the criminal referrals forthcoming from perhaps House Republicans as well as the DOJ Inspector General as it pertains to senior level FBI types. I suspect there won't be nuance there. We'll see.
You don't think?
Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Carol. Hey, there's a question here, Dan. Not to sound like a broken record, but this Senate needs to go after these leftists there that are trying to subvert this administration and doing their job. I mean, they go after Trump and any of his people. They got them all with having to get lawyers. They're all basically, they want to subpoena them. This Nadler is an absolute attack dog and everything. And what is the problem with starting to call these people in and ask them what's the basis for their continued attack and basically going after the Trump people? Can't they do it?
Well, yeah, but thanks for the call, Craig. I mean, they ostensibly they could do it, but that's what you get every Sunday on the talk shows. And then Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler and just make pronouncements or conjure up conspiracy theories to defend what they're doing. By the way, speaking of Schiff, the congressman representing Area 51, he has hired a former FBI Financial Crimes Division boss to assist with his look at Trump's financial dealings. So this is, the emoluments case is going forward. The subpoenas over Trump Organization business dealings going forward. The Southern District of New York's investigation continuing. And amid all this, of course, the House Democrats, those in safe seats at least, those who are committee chairmen, want to pile on. And it's just interesting to compare and contrast what you're hearing from the D.C. press corps, the amplification of the voices of Nadler and Schiff and No Justice, No Peace Maxine and the rest, as compared to presidential candidates, their presidential candidates, as compared to, some professional center-left types like Bill Galston writing the Wall Street Journal. They're very jumpy about what the base of the party in Congress, not even necessarily out in the hustings, but in Congress, is hell-bent on doing.
Yeah, I've got some very deep political analysis here. What I would like to subpoena and find out is how Jerry Nadler lost all that weight, because he looks really good.
It's not possible for him to look really good. He looks slimmer. That's not the same thing.
This is all on a relative spectrum.
Yes.
If you go and you look at what he looked like before and what he looked like now, I mean, it's like Benjamin Buttons. It's reverse aging. So in all of this, the only thing that I care about is how he was able to do that.
It's interesting. We've done 1998 Jerry Nadler versus 2019 Jerry Nadler, but on the position of like the full release of reports. He wanted things redacted from the Starr report. And,
completely flip-flopped.
But we didn't go into the body of Jerry Nadler, and that's important.
It's important political analysis. I think the people deserve to know.
Remember when Jesse Jackson Jr. lost all that weight like over a weekend, and he said it was diet and workout? And he was.
Al Sharpton, remember Al Sharpton lying. Back in the day?
Yeah. I'm assuming Jerry Nadler.
It's the Democratic diet of feasting on their own.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't go down easy. I assume it was professionally done, like Biden's hair.
Perhaps.
I can't imagine.
Well, what do you think about the teeth?
Nadler's teeth or Biden's
No, Biden's teeth.
Well, I mean, I think they're radiant. They're blinding.
So you're more into the teeth than the plugs, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Well, I haven't given Joe Biden's full physical presence the consideration it deserves, but I will over the course of the campaign.
But have you smelled his hair? Have you sniffed his hair, and do you desire to sniff his hair?
Not getting that close. Jim in Tampa, Florida, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I think that the entire Mueller question has been played correctly by Trump. Complete cooperation with the investigation, but now this pressure to say, I'm going to fight every subpoena, I've had enough. And I think the byproduct of that pressure is what we're seeing in all quarters, the press, the politicians. It's almost like, don't shoot Mongo, you're just going to make him mad. And somebody just shot Mongo.
Mongo pawn in Game of Life. Thanks, Jim.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and before you buy a new expensive mattress, I urge you to consider the MyPillow Mattress Topper. It's a lot less expensive and will totally revitalize your mattress. I have one, and frankly, I don't know if I love MyPillow or MyPillow Mattress Topper more. It's that good, and you'll get the best sleep of your life. Order now and get 30% off plus 2 free standard MyPillows. The exclusive 3-layer design includes MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover that's washable and dryable. Plus, Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need, sleep better, and save a lot of money. Save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper when you use promo code AMY. Plus, you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Admit it, none of us are eating enough fruits and vegetables on our own, so that's why Balance of Nature is so great. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule. It helps with muscle soreness. It helps boost your energy. Helps improve your immune system. It's really great. I love it. You should take it too. And here's what you can do. Just in time for Mother's Day, give the gift of health. Receive an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies that you can purchase. By the way, this offer ends May 10th. So do not wait. Again, from now until May 10th, receive a 15% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature and an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. But again, the offer ends May 10th. Do not wait. Call now, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Hiring? Aren't you tired of hoping the right candidates see your job posts? It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology finds and invites qualified candidates to apply. So instead of hoping you find that needle, ZipRecruiter finds it for you. And hiring is a whole lot easier.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGDirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Carol Roth in for Amy this morning. And Carol, we've got another relatively local controversy here. Westville, Illinois, which is Vermilion County. A bumper sticker posted in the restaurant Gross Burgers. I don't know if... I understand Gross is the owner's last name, but I don't...
So it's not like the Jewish Gross... We're the Gross Burger family. It's Gross Burgers?
Gross, new word, burgers, B-U-R, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the bumper sticker say, Dan?
I'm still having a hard time getting over Brad Gross deciding to name his restaurant with his last name. Okay. The bumper sticker that's posted in the restaurant reads...
Lay it on me here. Lay it on me.
It has Allahu Akbar written in Arabic, and then it says, if you can't read this, thank a Marine.
Wow.
This, in the era of social media, where you can take a picture of this and organize a hate mob very quickly.
Yeah.
That's what was done, and now you have a bunch of people suggesting that bumper sticker is offensive and it needs to be taken down. Brad Gross of Gross Burgers saying, no, it was not meant to be offensive. The bumper sticker has been in my restaurant.
It's not meant to be offensive. What was it meant to be?
The bumper
provocative, thought-provoking.
Brad Gross.
Instagram friendly.
Brad Gross said, the bumper sticker has been in my restaurant for more than a decade from a Marine that served in Iraq. He brought it in and asked me to put it up, and I said, sure, go ahead and put it up, and it's been there for all these years. A lot of people in the community are supportive of the bumper sticker as well, so you've got a divided opinion on the bumper sticker. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Sticker should stay, sticker should go.
So here's the thing. I think that the sticker, if he wants to keep it in his restaurant, even if it's offensive, I am a strong believer of freedom of speech, and I think he should be able to do so. And I think you as a customer should be able to vote with your dollars. And if you want to not patronize the restaurant, if you want to post about it on social media and tell everybody it's awful, you should also be able to do so. I think that more speech is good. And at the end of the day,
yes.
At the end of the day, I'm a free speech absolutist. So
and private property, because that's what we're talking about here.
I don't think that it's. I think it's. Certainly seems like something that could be deemed very offensive. But at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with people being offensive.
Well, right, and of course, Allahu Akbar is what is invoked often before an Islamist commits a terrorist act.
But to be fair, it's also used in many other contexts as well. So we know it because it is used usually before they're preceding a terrorist attack. But within that religion, they use it to say God is great in a lot of different contexts.
Well,
to be fair.
Actually, continue to be fair, even more fair, it's not God is great, it's God is greater. And that's important because what the Islamist is saying is God is greater than all other gods.
Which again, I'm not saying that I agree with, but it's being used in context It's not an exclusive phrase that's exclusive to terrorism.
No,
we don't have to agree with the ideology. I don't agree with the ideology at all, but it is used in other contexts.
Right, but the point of the bumper sticker isn't necessarily to say that anybody who says Allahu Akbar is a terrorist. If you can't read this, thank a Marine, means I take this to mean the Islamist is expansionist. Think of the Iranians, right? The caliphate to extend over Western Europe and beyond. And so it's very much like saying if you said something in German, and if you can't read this, thank a World War II veteran.
Okay, but or you could say it could say shalom if you can't read the thank a Palestinian. That wouldn't be kosher either.
That's not the same thing, though. Again, you have the idea is you have a radical Islamist element that seeks global domination. And if you can't read this, think and read. That's not saying all Muslims are terrorists.
That is one potential interpretation.
Yes.
It's obviously it's a bumper sticker. It leaves a lot of interpretations open. But again, at the end of the day, even if it is offensive, to me that should be your right to be offensive.
All right. Tim and Carrie, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi, Dan. I totally agree that the sticker should be left up. Look at the Muslim cleric in London who wants to implement Sharia law. You have no choice for anything in your life after that. We should be thanking all these Marines and military veterans for the work they've done for the lives that we have. We are so fortunate for them to protect us and eliminate these kind of things from being in our lives. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. Omar on the north side.
Oh, hi. This is Dr. Omar. You know, that sign is very offensive and racist because we say, as a Muslim American, we say in our prayer, Allahu Akbar, and means God is greater.
Greater,
so if
right.
we
Greater.
wanna,
yes.
Yeah, if we want to succeed with anything, if we want to start with anything, we say Allahu Akbar. It doesn't mean that you have to do an operation or something, something bad.
No, I understand.
And that was my point.
I understand.
That was the
Thank
point.
you for the
exactly
call,
what
Omar.
Omar said. That was exactly my point, is that within that religion it is invoked in many, many ways, the majority of which are not related to terrorism, but you're interpreting it in a different way. And the fact that it's open to interpretation can create issues. But again, that's why we have freedom of speech. in this
Yeah, it can also create dialogue. I mean, and Omar makes fair point, and I don't think you need to be unnecessarily provocative to our peaceful, pluralist Muslim friends, particularly in America and the West. But it's just interesting how this stirs a controversy, and the immediate reaction of the offended parties is to say, just eliminate it. Why don't we talk about it? How about we talk about it?
Or vote with your dollars. I mean, that's the great thing about capitalism. You have the opportunity, if you find it offensive, to not patronize that establishment and to tell your friends not to do the same.
All right, we have at 6:36 a big unveiling. I know you've been waiting for it.
Ooh.
The Obamas have unveiled a slate of the series they will be producing for Netflix.
Yes.
We will review them at 6:36 after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
48 degrees, and this morning, rain showers are causing major problems. In the Chicago area, roads are closed because of flooding in Orland Park and Lombard. Flights are canceled at O'Hare and Midway, and there is a flash flood watch for much of the region and localized flash flood warnings until 11 a.m. But our problems are not nearly as bad as what's happening in downtown Davenport, Iowa this morning, as the Mississippi River has topped out, overwhelming flood barriers in Davenport and collapsing a levee. Firefighters tried to evacuate hundreds, but not everyone was able to get out before the water rushed in, and the flooding, they say, will likely get worse in the Quad Cities. A letter Special Counsel Robert Mueller wrote to Attorney General Bill Barr is criticizing him for the way he summed up the 22-month Russia investigation. The Washington Post reported yesterday it has viewed that letter. In it, apparently, Mueller complains that Barr's 4-page memo to Congress didn't fully capture the context, nature, and substance of the team's work. Democrat Representative Adam Schiff says the letter is revealing.
We saw just how misleading the Barr summary is when we finally got the report, but now we see it in black and white from Mueller himself, his dissatisfaction with what Barr had done.
Barr insists that Mueller found no evidence of conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russian agents. The man accused of killing 2 students at UNC Charlotte has officially been charged with murder. 4 others were injured when gunfire erupted inside the Kennedy Hall building late yesterday afternoon.
It was a really scary experience to hear the shots and then have to run.
When I was in the library, I was on the 2nd floor. All of a sudden, someone ran in, yelled, "There's an active shooter, get down."
Authorities announcing early this morning that Tristan Terrell was charged with 2 counts of murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. Venezuelans are expected to fill the streets today in what opposition leader Juan Guaido promises will be the largest march in that country's history. 2 groups of union workers in Chicago are expected to hit picket lines today. Hundreds of clerical and technical staff at the city colleges of Chicago have gone on strike. They say they've been working without a contract for nearly 3 years. Bond has been set at $100,000 for a suburban Chicago man who fled in a ride-hailing car, causing a fiery, fatal crash on I-55. Rami Materia faces charges of reckless homicide in the death of Jamie Polis. The owners of Westlake Hospital are being allowed to close that Melrose Park medical facility. The Illinois Health Facilities and Services Review Board voted yesterday in favor of that closure. Cubs over the Mariners 6-5. Sox and Orioles play twilight doubleheader today in Chicago if they can get it in. The news service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard? Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains Trump's values.
Has there ever been a more conservative governing president in our lifetime? Oh, not really. You have Reagan and now Trump. In terms of justices, promise made, promise kept. Tax cuts, the highest in history. Regulation, deregulation. You never had anything like this.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
If you maintain an industrial plant, you know your dust collection systems are a vital part of the operation of your plant. Without them, things can get dusty quick. And when your dust collection system malfunctions, the downtime can cost your plant money. Time to call the professionals at Vans Industrial for help.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. At Vans, we work with many different types and sizes of dust collectors, from 1,000 CFM to 100,000 CFM. If your system needs housing repair, tube sheet, pulse valves, ductwork, or collection hoods, give us a call. Schedule an inspection today to keep things running smoothly and avoid costly downtime. And when you're ready for a new dust collector, we can design your system from the collection hoods to the stack for plants of all size applications.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com. Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:39 and a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim.
Flooding has 53 closed in Lombard between Park Boulevard and Butterfield. There's a closure in Warrenville Ferry between Curtis and Winfield Road. Several closures in Orland Park, including stretches of Southwest Highway at Wolf Road and Governor's Highway at Richardson Park. 8094 has high water. It's causing delays eastbound Indianapolis Boulevard, Kennedy. Water in the left lane. Westbound from Burr to Kennedy. Flooding on inbound I-57 at Sibley. The left lane is blocked. 31 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 35 minutes. The Bryant's 26 minutes. 95th to downtown. Kennedy 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. The Ike an hour from 390. Stevenson 56 minutes from 355. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Breezy, rain, thunderstorms, showers scattered throughout the day. And remember, we have flash flood watches and localized warnings throughout the region until 11 a.m. 48 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Carol Roth joins us again. And thank you for joining us while you're hydroplaning to work this morning. Got some big news for you. Been waiting with bated breath for this announcement. The Obama's production company, Higher Ground Productions.
Of course.
Uh,
Like if you had a pool of what the name of their production company was, that's got to be in your top 3.
I would have gone with Choom Gang, but okay. Take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line for renaming the Obama's production company, as well as I'm about to read you some of the offerings forthcoming on Netflix, their $50 million deal. What else you'd like them to produce, or working titles for what they are producing. They're producing a feature film on Frederick Douglass.
That actually should be pretty cool. He's a cool dude.
That is his historical rep.
That's
cool dude.
The technical term for it.
Escaped slave, a philosopher, and cool dude.
And all around cool dude.
No question.
Yeah.
And it will be difficult for them to go too far afield with it because they're adapting it from David Blight's Pulitzer Prize-winning biography, which I read and is excellent. The interesting thing, well, I'll get back.
Okay,
to Frederick Douglass.
So we give that one a two
That's a
thumbs
thumbs up.
We want to see that one. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good. It's a good start.
Yeah,
we're off to a good start.
This will be interesting for you. I wonder what you feel about him as somebody who used to be in investment banking and high finance.
A recovering investment banker, I like to call myself.
Recovering trader, Michael Lewis. His latest, there's a work in the works with the Obamas, do a doc series on his fifth risk, unfolding democracy.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm a big Michael Lewis fan. I think he's a great storyteller. I do think that usually his movies don't turn out as well as the books. This one in particular, though, I do not think is a good one. And obviously there have been a lot of controversies and people not really that pleased with the work. I think that this one is not his best effort, and so I am not excited to see
Fifth Risk is about the Trump administration.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, how fairly do you think that's going to be treated?
Yeah. No, well, I mean, everything everybody has said about it is that there's a lot of issues. So I'm going to take a pass on that one. I'm going yay on the Frederick Douglass and nay on the Michael Lewis.
I'd rather see optioning Liar's Poker into a film.
Yeah, amazing.
All right. Also, they've got.
By the way, do you have any ones on you? Want to play a little game of that later?
Poker?
Liar's Poker.
Oh, Liar's Poker?
Yeah.
Sure. We can play. Yes, I got singles.
Okay.
Yeah. I did the night shift last night. I got some singles. Okay. All right. So you got your Frederick Douglass and you got your Trump hit piece. And then the first release will be Stephen Bognar and Julia Reichert's Sundance Film Festival documentary, American Factory, about a Chinese-owned factory in post-industrial Ohio.
Doesn't sound particularly interesting to me.
They acquired the rights to Crip Camp, a documentary
Crop
about...
Camp.
What?
Was it Crop Camp or
No,
Crip
Crip Camp.
Really?
A documentary about a summer camp for disabled teenagers found in upstate New York in the early 70s.
Like the Crips and the Bloods?
No, disabled teenager.
Really?
Crip, like cripple.
All right, I've got something on the AV Club. It's being called Crop Camp, so I don't know what's going on.
The AV Club, I think,
doesn't know what's going on. All right, well, anyway, teenagers at summer camp. Oh, with disability. Okay, so I guess that Crip Camp. Interesting. Speaking of which, did you see that South Park episode with the Crips and the Bloods where Jimmy and Timmy want to join the Crips?
I did not see that.
That's an excellent episode. I highly recommend.
Maybe
Forget
the Obamas...
about Crip Camp. go straight to the Crips episode of South Park.
Maybe the Obamas can acquire the rights to South Park and
create a documentary about Jimmy and Timmy.
or figure out a way to how to not make that funny, because that's what would happen. Take the funny out of South Park. They're also developing a drama set in post-World War II New York titled Bloom, which is about deaths unreported by the paper in New York Times' overlooked obituary section. And, of course, a half-hour show for preschoolers titled Listen to Your Vegetables and Eat Your Parents. Okay.
It's kind of a funny title.
I guess
All right,
Michelle
that's kinda
Obama will
cute.
host that. Yeah. So there's your first group of offerings from the Obamas earning their $50 million from Netflix.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's a good deal that they got there.
And by the way, for any or all of these productions, perhaps narrating Listen to Your Vegetables and Eat Your Parents could be Jussie Smollett, who is not going to be back for season 6 of Empire, we find.
Well, it's good, yeah, that he's available to do more things, and maybe he can participate in the Streeterville Jussie Smollett tour, which starts as his building, goes to the place where the crime did not happen, and ends at the subway.
They could do
On McClure Court
do
there,
a doc on MAGA country. Call it MAGA country, obviously.
Or it could be like the OJ, like if I had done this, they could recreate it if it actually happened.
Well, here's the other thing about the Jussie Smollett. Despite all of the actors saying, bring back Jussie, Fox Entertainment said, no.
Not so much.
But we'll meet you
Not so much.
We'll meet you halfway.
Here's a pile of cash for you.
Yeah, negotiate an extension to Smollett's option for season 6. So he's been extended for the season. He's getting paid, but they said there's no plans for his character Jamal to return. So
Well, that was what this
a
was all
buyout.
about, right? He
Yeah.
just wanted to get paid, so he's getting his truckload of cash, and now he doesn't have to do anything for it.
I think the Osundario brothers should get at least 10% of that action.
Well, we'll
for the
see. They're
extension.
going to be in court, so perhaps they will.
I want to get back to the Frederick Douglass.
All around cool dude.
All around cool dude. That could be the working title. I just want to get around to it because I can't wait to see how the Obamas treat Frederick Douglass based on Blight's biography, because Frederick Douglass is the antithesis of Barack Obama.
Correct.
And of the left in general. I just want to go into that, but we'll take some calls here. Cindy in Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. How about Hill Dog meets Dog Eater?
Hill Dog meets Dog Eater. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Thanks for the call, Cindy. Hill Dog meets Dog Eater.
Dog Eater, yes.
And it could be about their emailing, illicitly emailing classified information to each other.
Or it could be a romantic comedy.
Who would play Hill Dog?
Kate McKinnon, obviously.
No.
You don't think so?
I got it. Better.
Okay.
Cynthia Nixon.
Yes.
She was on that
Although-
show
although-
about 3 prostitutes and their mother, remember?
Oh, come on.
Remember that show?
No.
You,
That's a horrible description of Sex in the City.
you like that show.
Here's the thing. I actually hated that show, but I watched the reruns incessantly. Like, I had this weird abusive relationship with Sex in the City where you know that it's not good, but there's a comfort factor to nothing's on, I'll watch that.
Who would play Obama and Michelle? I know I got Michelle.
Cynthia Nixon.
No, Michelle Obama?
Yeah.
No. It's I mean, this may be too on the nose, but for Michelle? Tyler Perry? Obviously.
Boo.
Nailed. That's
Boo.
perfect. For Obama, who plays Obama?
Chris Rock.
Yeah. Kevin Hart.
On stilts.
Jim in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Carol and Dan. Hey, first of all, I want to know where I could buy one of those burgers and a bumper sticker. But beyond that, I would call
Westville, Illinois.
All right.
Maybe
I'll
DoorDash will
further
travel
into it.
down there.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll take a trip. Hey, how about lack of production company?
Lack of production.
productions?
Yes. Okay.
How about no economic production?
Thanks for the call, Jim.
Productions.
Wow.
Very little economic productions.
Higher ground, too. I mean, didn't Steve Winwood trademark that? Can he sue them for copyright infringement?
I feel like it's kind of a nod to the weed there, right? Higher ground.
Oh.
Yeah, a little.
Oh.
I thought higher ground.
See, you're such a cynic. I was thinking it's
the high road.
A nod to Michelle saying when they go low, we go high.
I think there's perhaps a duality. So that's what Michelle wanted, and then mine is what Barack wanted. And so they were able to agree that that was a good one for totally different reasons.
So they're so deep. I mean, they're such intellectual powerhouses. Mike in Glenview.
Hey, guys. I love commuting in with you. I'm going with Propaganda Productions.
Nice.
And their first show will be the Jussie Smollett story titled Justice's Blind Eye for the Queer Black Guy. And Michelle.
That's pretty good.
Michelle
I want to option the rights to that. How do we make that happen?
Own it. And Michelle will do a dual role as Kim Fox, calling herself to get him off.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah.
We should option that, Dan. I think that's a strong one.
That's pretty good. I thought he was going to say Michelle's going to play one of the Asendario brothers.
Boo.
Mike on the north side.
Wow, how can I follow that? That was pure gold. But I wanted to say we could have two choices for their production company. It could either be On the Down Low Productions, or it could be Men on Film, and it could star as Barack and Michelle Obama, those two from In Living Color that did the film. And I think their first project ought to be Hopes and Dreams of all the children killed in the neighborhoods he organized.
Well,
that's kind of dark.
Yeah, that started funny and ended dark. Thanks for the call, Mike.
All right, I've got one. I've got a game show. This is just I'm working it out here. I don't have a working title, but the concept of it is that you get very wealthy people, and then poorer people get their money redistributed from the wealthy people in a game show format, something that's fun and lively.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
All right.
Redistribution, the game show.
That certainly would be in keeping with the philosophy of the production house. I'm just struck by Men on Film. That would be great. That was just fantastic. That's good. And In Living Color was great, but Men on Film, fantastic. That was Damon Wayans, and who's the other guy? What's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? David Alan Grier.
Oh yeah.
So
two snaps and a circle.
Damon Wayans could play Barack Obama as well, and David Alan Grier could play Michelle. Pete in Montgomery, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan. So they definitely missed the mark on naming their production company. It should have been You Didn't Produce This.
I love it.
Yeah. Nicely done. Very good, Pete.
That
Thanks
could
for the
actually
call.
be a good documentary. They could go around to all the entrepreneurs and basically look at companies that they didn't build. So we're going to go behind the scenes and see how you did not build this company.
You Didn't Produce This. Productions presents You Didn't Build This.
A show about the real story of entrepreneurs.
The show about the heroics of government. Yes. That's pretty good. George and Moni.
Yeah, I'd go with Sanctimonious Revision as a...
That's the name of the production company.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, George. Sean in Elmwood Park.
You know, Prof, at first I was going to go low. I was going to go with like Beard Studios, Michelle's Division, Third Arm Cinema. But this one, it's obvious. It's Lying Eyes Production. It's very simple. His entire presidency was about lying eyes. Are you going to believe me or your lying eyes? So it's got to be Lying Eyes Productions. There's no question. And as far as Hillary, we put a fat suit on Martin Short. Bring him back. He was a
Jiminy
real
Glick.
talent. There's no question about it. And Barack Obama, come on. You got to have him be played by a white guy because there's never been a white or black president in the history of any country like that guy.
You could do. You remember when Eddie Murphy was Mr. White?
Oh, on SNL.
Back on SNL.
Sure,
So
yeah.
that would be a perfect thing. So basically, Eddie Murphy as a white man as Barack Obama.
Eddie Murphy is Mr. White in the role of Barack Obama.
Exactly.
Paul in McHenry.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning.
I'm actually from Danville, Illinois, and I grew up going to Grossbergers as a kid.
Oh, okay.
And the
Grossberg's
whole
right there.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Are they
The
tasty,
whole
by the
restaurant-
way? Paul, are they tasty or are they gross?
Oh, they're actually really good. That's probably the best burgers I've ever had. Hand cut fries, fresh.
Oh, boy.
You know, it's a really nice. So it's like a local type of place. The whole restaurant's filled with old military memorabilia. And that's basically what that sign is. I mean, it's being blown out of proportion like just about everything else nowadays.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Paul. Appreciate that. Some local knowledge. I still think we need to come up with a new name for Gross Burgers while we're coming up with a new name for the Obama's production house.
I kind of like gross burgers. There's
counterintuitive.
There's a certain charm about that.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Fed to lock in interest rates today. GE shows signs of a big turnaround, and GM domestic profits rise, but sales in China fall. Those stories next.
It's so nice now that the kids are asleep.
Cheers.
We got the kids, our house, a stable income.
Checking off all the boxes.
But there's one box we haven't checked off.
What's that?
Life insurance.
We don't need to think about that now. We're young.
That's why now is the best time. Life insurance gets more expensive the older you get.
But I don't have time to do a blood test. It's such a hassle to meet with someone just to get a quote.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos?
It's a modern kind of life insurance. You just answer 4 quick questions at getethos.com and get a free instant quote. No pushy salespeople. And no medical exams required for policies covering under $1 million. You can apply online in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Let's do it.
But then what will we do for the rest of the night?
I'm sure we can think of something.
Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
The Federal Reserve scheduling a news conference for later today. It will confirm then that no interest rate hikes will occur for the remainder of the year. After a string of multi-billion-dollar write-downs last year, GE's finances are improving. GE generating more profits and lost less cash than expected. GE shares jumping more than 5% on that news. General Motors turned in higher than expected profits as well in the first quarter, boosted by truck sales in the U.S., the gain offset by a 20% decline, however, in GM's sales in China. GM's profits there fell 37%. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
All this rain and snow has to go somewhere, hopefully not in your basement or crawl space. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Did you know that winter is the best time to waterproof your basement or crawl space? With flexible scheduling and payment options, along with our price assurance guarantee, there's no need to wait for the ground to thaw to fix the problem. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free estimate. Our certified consultants will inspect your foundation inside and out and provide you with a written estimate. If you experienced problems during last year's storms, you will have the same challenges this spring. Water and structural problems don't go away. In fact, they only get worse. For nearly 40 years, homeowners all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana have trusted Permaseal. For a dry basement and a healthy home, you know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
WIND, Chicago.
New questions for the Attorney General.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. At a Senate hearing this morning over a letter Special Counsel Mueller wrote to him. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, just days after Attorney General William Barr released his summary findings of the Mueller report, the special counsel wrote him a letter saying the 4-page memo did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of his investigation. Robert Mueller also wrote, "There is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation." The Washington Post, which obtained the letter, reported the two later spoke on the phone. During that conversation, Mueller said he did not believe Barr's summary memo to Congress was inaccurate, but he was concerned about the media coverage of the obstruction investigation. Dave?
Rachel, Democrats are upset over the letter. Congresswoman Maxine Waters told MSNBC.
This administration and all of those who are lined up with the president trying to protect him have obstructed not only justice, but obstructed Congress.
Now, Democrats might subpoena Barr if he skips tomorrow's House hearing, but Republican Congressman John Ratcliffe told Fox.
If you want to ask questions about a 448-page report, the guy we ought to be talking to is Bob Mueller, not Bill Barr.
Venezuela's opposition leader, backed by the U.S., is calling for more protests, trying to oust disputed President Maduro.
We don't know precisely when the moment is that he'll make the right decision for the people of Venezuela. He's shown an utter lack of regard or care for their decency, for their dignity.
Secretary of State Pompeo told Fox Business Cuba and Russia are helping Maduro and also Moscow. There'll be a vigil today at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, after the shooting that left 2 dead, 4 wounded, 3 of them critically.
All of a sudden, I just see 30 to 50 kids just running like a stampede towards me, screaming "There's a shooter, there's a shooter."
The accused gunman's a 22-year-old student now facing murder charges. A 13-year-old boy's in critical condition in Philadelphia, shot after midnight right outside a supermarket he'd ridden his bike to. This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies, rain showers, and flooding problems at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Rain showers causing some major problems in the area this morning. Roads are closed because of flooding. Orland Park, Lombard, major issues this morning. Flights are canceled at O'Hare and Midway, and a flash flood watch and localized warnings are set for the region until 11 a.m. Many parts of downtown Davenport, Iowa this morning are underwater, and the Mississippi River has yet to top out in the Quad Cities. The river overwhelmed flood barriers and crushed a levee in Davenport yesterday. Firefighters tried to evacuate, but not everyone was able to get out before the water rushed in. 2 groups of union workers in Chicago are expected to hit the picket lines today. Hundreds of clerical and technical staff at city colleges of Chicago have gone on strike. They've been working without a contract for nearly 3 years, they say. Chicago's vehicle impound policies are being challenged in a class action lawsuit. Attorneys for the Institute of Justice claim in a lawsuit cities holding vehicles ransom until the owners pay fines that have accumulated, even though a final judgment has not been rendered. Accused kidnapper and killer Brent Christensen says he's now on board with his attorney's decision to drop a mental health defense. Christensen is facing a federal kidnapping and murder charge in connection with the missing U of I visiting scholar Yinging Zhang. Large group of students at Homewood Flossmoor High School say they're taking action over social media postings showing white classmates wearing blackface. Hundreds walked out of class yesterday protesting the images that surfaced online over the weekend. Cubs edge the Mariners 6-5 in Seattle. Sox and Orioles have a twilight doubleheader. First game, first pitch at 3:10 tonight after last night's rainout. The news service of Express Services Incorporated. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
My name is David Hochberg at Team Hochberg. If you're credit challenged, Team Hochberg has a special offer. Credit enhancement expert Gary Novell has taught me everything I know about credit and has helped thousands of radio listeners enhance their credit. If your credit is prohibiting you from purchasing a home or refinancing your existing home, Gary will help. Here's how it works. Call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID and we'll introduce you to Gary Novell. Invest in yourself by hiring Gary to enhance your credit, and Team Hochberg will refund Gary's fee when Team Hochberg closes your loan. If you'd like a professional to enhance your credit so you could purchase a home or refinance your existing home, call the local mortgage experts on Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
With more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8, a great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com.
7:07 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
53 is flooded in Lombard between Park Boulevard and Butterfield. There are closures of Southwest Highway Wolf, 135th and 143rd at Orland Park, and Governor's Highway in Richton Park. There's also high water on 8094. Westbound, it's jammed. Grant Kennedy Avenue, left lane flooded. Eastbound, heavy Calumet Avenue to Kennedy. And on I-57, there's flooding around Sibley. 31 minutes, side east of the merge, Bishop 435. Ryan is 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Kennedy, 41 minutes, O'Hare to the Burn Circle. Quicker in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A flash flood watch in effect this morning. Clouds and breezy, occasional rain and a thunderstorm this morning. A shower thunderstorm this afternoon, the high 60. Cloudy tonight, low 42, and then rain tomorrow with a high at 55. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
50 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Carol Roth. You see her frequently on Fox and Fox Business. Also, check out her podcast, The Roth Effect. And check this out, what's going on college campuses writ large. Are we de facto overturning Brown v. Board of Education? Is it the left's desire that we go back to the era of Plessy v. Ferguson, separate but equal. It's remarkable. I thought the point of the civil rights movement and about people living in harmony with one another was integration. But what's happening on college campuses is segregation by design. This is the topic of a study that was done by the National Association of Scholars and an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal by the head of NAS, Peter Wood, frequent guest of ours. In the past 2 years, the National Association of Scholars surveyed 173 colleges and universities, public and private, all 50 states. 46% of schools segregate student orientation programs. 43% segregate residential arrangements. 72% segregate graduation ceremonies. Though the arrangements are ostensibly voluntary, students can't easily opt out. The social pressure to conform is overwhelming. And they looked at case studies at Yale, at Wesleyan, and Brown universities. And this has been going on for some time, but it's becoming more pronounced, as more pressure, and more pervasive.
Which I can't even imagine what the rationale is when you have people who've fought for so long to be viewed as individuals and not as a collective, not as immutable characteristics. The fact that this continues down this path, that we are going to create these separate spaces and that we are going to identify you solely on these immutable characteristics.
Also, isn't the watchword diversity? Is it supposed to be like diversity behind a glass window? Is it diversity menagerie?
It's a TV dinner instead of a melting pot. Everybody's in their little compartment instead of bringing everybody together.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor. Very good. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by the president of the National Association of Scholars, Peter Wood. Peter, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me back.
So this is pretty in-depth, this study that the National Association of Scholars put together.
Cut it out. This past weekend, Friday night, my wife went on a fun run in our neighborhood.
By design. So I top-lined some of the findings in terms of how pervasive it is, but once you provide some details of what you see, otherwise
the campus beat.
Right. The 210-page report is just on Yale. We have separate reports on Wesleyan and Brown and maybe some others in the
Why do I have to be stuck here talking property taxes?
There's so much to say about this.
Well, you're going to get it if you continue that attitude, and you're going to get a...
I got a job following fat people around with a tuba.
Number of what I call diversicrats.
Stop it! Cut it out!
This past weekend, Friday night, my wife went on a fun run in our neighborhood.
Students put them in their boxes and train them from the first moment of contact with the university.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
It begins in high school where the initial contacts with colleges get immediately classified by race. Students of color are invited to what
Why do I have to be stuck here talking property taxes?
Well, you're going to get it if you continue that attitude, and you're going to get a...
I got a job following fat people around with a tuba.
The college immediately classifies them by race.
Stop it! Cut it out!
This past weekend, Friday night, my wife went on a fun run in our neighborhood.
Students of color are invited to campus a little bit before the other students. They're put in a special group.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Are encouraged to form their first friendships and usually their deepest and most lasting associations with people of the same race.
Why do I have to be stuck here talking property taxes?
Well, you're going to get it if you continue that attitude, and you're going to get a...
I got a job following fat people around with a tuba.
Ostensibly voluntary. We call it neo-segregation.
Stop it! Cut it out!
This past weekend, Friday night, my wife went on a fun run in our neighborhood.
It's voluntary and kind of name only, since the students in the very beginning are classified.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Administrators via the tunnel of race.
Peter, let me interrupt you for a second. It's ostensibly the college.
Why do I have to be stuck here talking property taxes?
experience.
Well, you're going to
after
get
a
it if
certain
you
number of
continue that
years
attitude,
for
and you're going to get
success
it.
in the
I got a
real
job
world.
following fat people
How
around with a tuba.
would this action have any ability to do that?
Cut it out.
This past weekend, Friday night,
Consider that
my
we
wife
will
went on a fun run in our neighborhood.
provide politics of today. It to some extent helps prepare students to see
They got the
themselves
beat,
as
the
part of
campus
identity
beat, the campus beat.
Americans.
Yeah,
Therefore,
the
it has
campus
that
beat.
quality that some see as an advantage. For the workplace, likewise, there are increasing numbers of American companies that want to check off.
Why do I have to be stuck here talking property taxes?
Well, you're going to get it if you continue that attitude, and you're going to get a
racial identity that can help get a kind of phony job. You get a real salary, but you don't really get real responsibilities. So there is some connection to the workaday world. Where it most misses is for ordinary life, in which we all associate with people of all different backgrounds, and to the extent that we make that more difficult for ourselves by saying that I am of this race and you're not, therefore I can't really be friends with you, or I can't really talk with you, I can't interact with you. This is college teaching people to be dysfunctional.
And so, what about the educational outcomes for these students? I don't know if you looked at that, but we note we looked at it here in Illinois, Department of Education data on the universities and colleges in Illinois, the public ones, and we find more than 6 in 10 black students flunked out. In point of fact, at two public universities, Northeastern Illinois and Chicago State, 9 in 10 black students who enrolled failed out. So the outcomes, the educational outcomes for these students that are being selected in large measure based on their race, as you're sort of describing, have not been great. And the point is to not only prepare them for the real world, but to just to provide the instruction that creates lifelong learners, so they're fully actualized people. And that's not happening, despite the focus on these students from the helpers, the diversicrats, as you're talking about.
This has been going on for a long, long time. We took our study back to the early 1960s when colleges and universities first got interested in doing their part for the civil rights movement, and they thought the way to do that was to increase the number of black applicants or black matriculants, regardless of their preparation or ability. And right away, the numbers of students flunking out skyrocketed. We found at Yale by 1966, more than a third of the first-year Yale students who were admitted in this fashion failed. And that failure rate continued on through the second and third years until the numbers of especially admitted students were almost minimal. And that's at the elite colleges that can presumably get the best of the best. At the public universities, since the most talented students had already been siphoned off, the students who were left to meet the diversity quotas tended to do even worse. And what you cite there as happening in Illinois happens across the country. Large numbers of students are admitted, they come for a semester or two, and then they fail out.
And it's largely an indictment of K through 12 systems, specifically in big urban centers that are disproportionately have disproportionately high minority populations. So it's sort of the cycle from K through post-secondary education. But the entire philosophy of the diversicrats is harming their intended beneficiaries, or those who say are their intended beneficiaries, from beginning to inexorable end.
Right. They're worse off than if they hadn't attended any college, because they come out with student debt, and the student debt doesn't go away.
So, Peter, in addition to this involuntary segregation, obviously we've seen a suppression of speech on campus. We have safe spaces, trigger warnings, all kinds of things going on. What does this do in terms of our ability to compete globally when these are the types of activities and issues that we are feeding to the students during their college years?
Well, I think increasingly American colleges and universities are turning themselves into a laughing stock for the rest of the world. Other countries don't do this. The glories of American higher education are the STEM fields, and they are not where you see a lot of this experimentation taking place. In the event the students enroll, if they stay, they're going into soft fields or they're going into the studies, Afro-American studies, Caribbean studies, you name it. The effect of this is that a large portion of American higher education is sacrificing its international reputation. Increasingly, the international students who used to come here are going to other countries. They want to be in English-speaking countries. They go to Australia. They go to Britain, and so on. We're not making a good choice as far as competing for students, but we're also sacrificing our capital, our human capital, and that people who should be prepared for the workforce in one way or another are being misprepared by being treated as bearers of racial identity rather than as individuals who have something to learn and something to contribute.
He is Peter Wood. He's president of the National Association of Scholars. Check out his op-ed, Segregation by Design on Campus. I'll tweet it out as well. Peter, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And you joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
As the weather gets warmer and you go outside in the yard, look up. How's that chimney doing? It probably got a good workout this past winter while it was keeping you toasty during those rough months of extreme cold. Or maybe you didn't use it at all because you were worried it hadn't been checked out in a few years and maybe a safety hazard. Well, this would be a good time to call Fireplace and Chimney Authority and get a checkup. You still have a few cool evenings left to enjoy your fireplace before the summer heat arrives. Fireplace and Chimney Authority do masonry and all chimney repairs. Their certified technicians will make sure your chimney is in good condition, so you don't have to worry about any potential hazards. For a limited time, get $100 off any masonry or relining work over $750. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority for an inspection at 630-279-8500, 630-279-8500, and visit their beautiful showrooms in Lisle and Elmhurst to see a great selection of fireplaces, gas logs, and grills.
Admit it, none of us are eating enough fruits and vegetables on our own, so that's why Balance of Nature is so great. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule. It helps with muscle soreness. It helps boost your energy. Helps improve your immune system. It's really great. I love it. You should take it too. And here's what you can do. Just in time for Mother's Day, give the gift of health. Receive an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies that you can purchase. By the way, this offer ends May 10th. So do not wait. Again, from now until May 10th, receive a 15% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature and an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. But again, the offer ends May 10th. Do not wait. Call now, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
The search for a great dentist. It's never an easy task. It can be exhausting finding the right dentist and staff, not only to get beautiful results, but one that you're comfortable with. This may make your search a bit easier. How about choosing a dentist recently voted as one of the top 40 Chicagoland dentists by Chicago Magazine? That's Dr. Michael Unti at Palatine Complete Dental. He, along with his skilled team, are interested in being your family dentist. Palatine Complete Dental is a high-tech dental practice offering services in cosmetic and family dentistry, implant placement and restoration, including implant retained dentures and bridges, braces, Invisalign, and TMJ therapy. They'll go out of their way to make each visit a pleasant experience. Your search for a dentist is over. Get results that speak for themselves. Bright, healthy, head-turning smiles. Schedule an appointment today with Dr. Michael Unti at Palatine Complete Dental. Quality care with Christian values. Go to PalatineDentist.com. PalatineDentist.com.
Okay, here's the deal. You missed your chance to lock in a mortgage with a low rate, right? Wrong. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payment or thinking of getting cash out of your home, mortgage rates are still low and you still have time to get the loan you want before rates go back up. But the clock's ticking. And at Cash Call Mortgage, there's no better time to take advantage than right now. Call us at 844-567-CASH. Speak with one of our refinance specialists today, and you may be able to lock in a low rate before it's gone. We can close your loan for a flat $9.95 origination fee and pay your closing costs. We'll even get the process started without the upfront deposit other lenders still charge. That's 844-567-CASH. Refinance with Cash Call Mortgage today. Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. And MLS ID 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states, including New York. Offer not available in Washington. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions. And details on closing costs paid for loans above $250,000. Don't let these low rates pass you by. Dial 844-567-CASH. That's 844-567-CASH. Refinance with Cash Call Mortgage today.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Carol Roth in for Amy J this morning, and just picking up on our conversation about segregation by design at the collegiate level with Peter Wood from the National Association of Scholars. The flap at home at Flossmoor, the avoidance of dispute resolution by design could be the title of this story, now 2 days old, and the fans of racial discord being flamed because you can't. The flames being fanned.
Fans being flamed, flames being fanned.
It's
tomato, tomato.
It's going both directions.
Yeah.
So you had the walkout of all the HF students yesterday in protest of the 4 kids who put on blackface and took selfies and posted some apparently derogatory comments online about African-American females. The superintendent, the principal released a video. No adults seem to intervene other than to indulge the kids of all races. It's 80% the student body of AHF is black, 20% is white. It was black and white protesting yesterday, and here's some of what went down.
As promised, they walked out. Around noon, Homewood Flossmoor High School students left the building. Within minutes, about 1,000 kids spilled onto Kedzie Avenue demanding justice as they squeezed around police officers who were supposed to keep the students from leaving school grounds.
It's quite a big turnout, and I'm very happy with the results because this is something that's systematically happening in America now.
Systematically, Dan. Systematically happening.
Maybe in the Virginia governor's office or in the upper reaches of Virginia political office. I don't know if it's systematic.
But let me ask you this, that you hear the chants of "we want justice" from students. You're good at interpreting things. What exactly does "we want justice" in this particular scenario even mean?
Well, the students, I guess, provided one specific, in addition to, I don't know, they weren't specific about the discipline they think should be meted out for the kids that wore blackface. Maybe they'll, in this instance, dispense with their opposition to capital punishment and support that. I'm not exactly sure. Expulsion, I haven't heard a specific. You hear the general because they don't really know the specific, but you did get this from a couple of the kids.
All of our history classes, we learn about wars, fights, all these other things, but we never get that deep into black history.
Yeah, I think they should put that in like the curriculum of having like the African American history class.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't been in school in a while, but didn't you learn about that in history?
Yeah, in history. The history classes I took were not race specific. It was about the history of the country, the history of Western civilization, the history of other continents and other cultures. You learn about it in the context of learning global history, 20th century American history, and other coursework like that.
Sure.
And it necessarily includes, obviously, black people of great import and impact
And
in
their plights
American
and
life.
what happened to them, right?
Well, of course.
Yes. Right.
I mean, the funny thing is you're talking about a school where 50% of the student body does not meet park standards. Right. So there again, what's going on inside the walls other than you got a few knuckleheads when they're outside the walls do something stupid and compound it by posting it on social media. Want to have a conversation now since everybody's focused on HF about what's going on inside the walls at high schools like HF? What we're getting versus what we're spending and how that's changed over time. I mean, the spending that has gone up. The performance, most of these schools static or declining.
Yeah, because the money is not going into the classroom. The money is going to administrators and bureaucrats. It's not going to better the teaching, which, by the way, should be less costly and more democratized given where technology is today.
But I'd be happy to volunteer to teach Black History course. Be happy to if HF would have me. I don't have a teaching certificate. We could start. I mean, I'll start where the Obamas are starting.
On higher ground.
David Blight, his biography on Frederick Douglass. You want to talk about Frederick Douglass? Kids? Adults? Frederick Douglass, from a speech by Lucas Morrill on Frederick Douglass, but Douglass's words. For Douglass, the relevant minority in America was the minority of one, the individual. The government of all should be partial to none, Douglass believed. He saw that the protection of specific groups or classes would lead government away from protecting individual rights and towards assigning benefits and burdens based on group categorization.
Like, could you inject that straight into my veins?
Well, that's where
Just
we're at
put
now.
Put that right in my veins. That's
right?
amazing.
That's where we're at now. Frederick Douglass was talking about this post-Civil War America. So was Frederick Douglass right, or are the race racketeers of today right? You can't have it both ways, kids and adults. Where are those adults down at HF, both in the school and at home?
They're shooting videos for the Instagrams.
Well, seriously, though, have you heard, other than the canned video released by the principal and superintendent, where are the adults in this story? I'm not hearing from parents. I'm not hearing from anybody other than, the canned video.
Well, if you had parents in the equation, this probably doesn't happen to start with.
I keep asking the same question over the last 2 days. What is the point here? Is the point dispute resolution and reconciliation?
No.
Or is the point community activists scoring political
Bing,
points?
bing, 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 bing. We have a winner.
Mark and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. I heard this story a little bit on your show yesterday morning, and for as long as those kids were in doing this, they broke no laws. They didn't do it on school property. They didn't do it during school hours. So if I'm their parents, I'm hiring an attorney. We're keeping our mouths shut and hoping the kids get suspended. And then I'm suing the school district, and I'm naming the principal and the superintendent, their wives, their children, their unborn grandchildren in the lawsuit.
Why? Thanks for the call, Mark. This is
I don't think the point is, obviously, this isn't about the kids. This is the fact that the kids are a product of the fact that there are no adults who are acting like adults in this scenario.
Well, but I completely disagree with what Mark just said. Your kids did something wrong. You bring your kids to the table to apologize, to make amends, to foster reconciliation. You don't wait. You don't wait so that you have a cause of action to litigate. This is exactly the problem. One poison mentality feeds and begets another.
But the point is, if you had strong parents to begin with, I don't think that these kids would be doing that. If you had parents that were doing their jobs in the house, I don't think that this happens in today's day and age.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know what the parents are. Look, you can have parents that do everything right and the kid still does something stupid. Every kid's going to do something stupid. But so I'm not saying the parents aren't raising these kids right. I don't think we know that yet. But their parents aren't intervening when they should.
Correct.
That's the real issue. All right, coming up, we're going to switch gears and talk to Stephen Moore about Stephen Moore's nomination to the Fed Board of Governors, which is in some peril.
Hotly contested.
That's at 7:37. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
50 degrees, rain showers, and problems this morning because of flooding in Orland Park and Lombard. Flights canceled at O'Hare and Midway because of the heavy rain, and flash flood watches are up for the region until 11 a.m. Several feet of water flooding downtown Davenport, Iowa, after the Mississippi River breached a temporary levee. Davenport, Iowa Mayor Frank Klippich on the devastation after the levee folded.
It's like typically a high-grade sandbagging process. So you figure they're up for a long period of time. They're not designed as a permanent fix, and they just wore away.
Barrier failed Tuesday, flooding a several block area in the central business district. South central U.S. cleaning up after dozens of tornadoes tore through the region Tuesday. Hail, flooding, and tornadoes as well in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. A vigil planned for today on campus at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, where the shooting on Tuesday upended the last day of classes there. A suspected gunman is in custody. 22-year-old Tristan Terrell was arrested after investigators say he opened fire, killing 2 and injuring 4 others.
A student should not have to fear for his or her life when they're on our campuses. Parents should not have to worry about their students when they send them off to school.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Attorney General Bill Barr will talk Mueller report this morning before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Venezuelans are filling the streets again in what opposition leader Juan Guaido promises will be the largest march in that country's history. Groups of union workers in Chicago are expected to hit picket lines today. Hundreds of them, clerical and technical staff at the city colleges, have gone on strike. They say they've been working without a contract for nearly 3 years. There's a push at the Illinois Capitol to pay workers on state projects every week. 2 Chicago Democrats are pushing a plan to pay everyone who works on a state building project within 7 days. And a proposed Illinois graduated income tax package is moving to the Senate floor. There could be a vote today. Cubs over the Mariners 6-5. Sox and Orioles in a twilight doubleheader tonight after last night's rainout. The news service of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. More than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta Days Inn and Super 8. A great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says Joe Biden must not be reading the news.
Everybody knows how great the economy is doing. You can't pretend it's not. People are actually taking home more money. It's the last thing. You'd go after anything but the economy, right? If you're Joe Biden, you'd go after anything but the economy.
The middle class is hurting. It's hurting now.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855 1 Hour.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have spring fever. Consumer confidence is up, and that means spending. We want folks to enjoy what they've worked so hard for, but don't forget...
Craig, are you trying to tell me something? I know. Retirement's right around the corner.
Listen, a new season is time for regrowth and building on what you already have. You don't need to do it alone if you have Wealth Management Group at your side.
Spring into action and make Wealth Management Group your go-to partner. And listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Are your windows needy?
Call Crumweedy.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. If you need windows, call the exterior experts, Crumweedy. Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors since 1953. For them, it's all about trust. They truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They're exclusive. That's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. Lifetime! That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality. Windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. If your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. Just remember this, windowsareneedy.com. Windowsareneedy.com.
7:38. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
In Lombard, 53 is closed due to flooding between Park and Butterfield. Orland Park, Wolf is closed, 151st to 143rd, and Southwest Highway, 143rd to 135th, along with cross streets. Richmond Park Governor's Highway is flooded, 30 and Sauk Trail. Eden's 35 minutes, Lake Cook to Junction. Kennedy, an hour and 4 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 30 minutes from Montrose, 25 on the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour, 16, 355 to the drive. Bryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Delays on the Tri-State are northbound from 115th and Ridgeland to the Grand Avenue curve. It's on Reagan Tollway Midwest to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Chet Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, rain, thunderstorms, showers throughout the day. We'll keep a flash flood watch in effect until 11 a.m. with a high of 60. Currently 50 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Carol Roth, and she's big time. I'm small potatoes over here. Carol Roth is big time. You know how I know?
How do you know, Dan?
Because she was featured in a John Stossel production on a bunch of topics that couldn't be more relevant as we're in full 2020 election cycle swing. Like, the economy's doing good, but what's the Democrat socialist response? Sure, for the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. John Stossel tackles that and other topics on income distribution, and he relies on Carol Roth's expertise to fill in the blanks. Listen up.
It's true that some rich people have gotten absurdly rich, but the other claim that they got rich while the poor people got poorer is just a myth.
As we've increased the number of billionaires around the world, extreme poverty has actually shrunk down.
Former investment banker Carol Roth points out that anyone who pays attention knows that as the rich got richer, most poor people got richer too. Worldwide, more than 1 billion people rose out of poverty. Yes, the rich got even richer, but why is that a problem? Consider poor me and rich me.
I love this.
Over the past 40 years, we rich Americans got 200% richer. Lucky me. I got just 32% richer. I didn't gain as much as he did. But I don't see how I'm hurt. I'm 32% richer. And yes, that's adjusting for inflation. And it doesn't even count all the cool new stuff innovation gave me.
It's such an interesting point, right? The rich got richer as a percentage, but the capitalism is the rising tide that lifts all boats. And so the poor are in a better position too. They didn't risk as much. They didn't invest as much because they don't have as much. So they didn't reap the same rewards. And that leads to the second issue, which is income mobility. How those poor who start getting richer can then start getting richer at a faster rate than the poor.
Absolutely. And the innovations that have come with capitalism that have democratized technology and access to things that before were only available, forget about to wealthy individuals, to wealthy corporations. The fact that we've got smartphones that you walk around with that are basically supercomputers that connect you to all the information that has ever been created in time, that give you the opportunity to enact commerce, to take payments. It gives everybody a tremendous opportunity. And then add on top of that things like drugs and life-saving drugs and other innovations that have improved the quality of life. So not only have you gotten richer overall, the richness of the life that you're leading is also better as well.
More of the Wonder Twins, Stossel and Roth.
And here's another misleading claim.
A lack of economic mobility. The lack of economic mobility.
Watching the news, you'd think people born poor in America have little chance to become rich.
A striking lack of economic mobility in America.
It's true that people with rich parents have a big advantage, but it's not like Americans are locked in. Economists at Harvard and Berkeley crunched the numbers and found most people born to the richest fifth of Americans fell out of that bracket within 20 years. Likewise, most born to the poorest fifth climb to a higher quintile. Some make it all the way to the top. One study looking at that top bracket found
3 out of 4 Americans will hit that top 20% at some point in their lifetime.
3 out of 4 people.
Yes, there is the opportunity to have that mobility and to make an amazing income in this country.
Yeah, you make a good point, Carol Roth. And now we've got Carol Roth in stereo. She's here and she's not
That's
there.
right. You got me with Stas, so you got me live with Dan Prof. I am everywhere.
But here's the thing. You know what inhibits the ability to be, as you just said, one of those 3 or 4 who makes it to the top 20 at some point in their lifetimes? Right. Incentivizing the disinclination to climb.
100%. I mean, whether it's directly or indirectly, whether it's through taxes or structures or, even just the zeitgeist of the fact that we don't look up to people who are successful anymore and say that's something that I aspire to, that I should just get something for existing. That is not good for the idea of economic mobility.
For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by Stephen Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, chief economist for CNN, and nominee for the Fed Board of Governors. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
So how about this discussion of, you can't just have good growth because the Democrats just say, well, yeah, that's the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. So you have to do second and third level analyses like we heard in the Stossel piece. So the 3% GDP growth we can't crow about for too long because then we need to do that explanation Stossel's doing, at least the president does.
Well, look, one of the things I'm kind of proudest about in terms of what's happened in the last 2 years in this economic expansion under Trump has been that, according to the Wall Street Journal, a report that just came out about 3 weeks ago, this wasn't Steve Moore speaking, this was the news department at the Wall Street Journal, that the biggest wage gains in the last 2 years have actually gone to the lowest income workers. So actually in the last 2 years, the poor are getting richer faster than the rich are getting richer, which is a cool statistic. That's what we wanted, by the way, by creating a very tight labor market, a really good job market for workers where they have the bargaining power now because there's more jobs available than workers. There's 7.1 million job openings today, and there's only 6 million unemployed people. So if my math is right, that's 1.1 million, more jobs than available workers. That gives workers a lot of power to go, if they don't like their current job, they can go down to the street to another. I mean, you saw what happened with Target. They raised their minimum wage to $13 an hour. Walmart, Walgreens, FedEx just is providing now $5,000 paid vacations to new workers to get them to come aboard. That's the dividend of having a great economy and a strong labor market.
Yeah, and amazing it happens without regulation. It is
exactly.
Yeah, it is interesting, Stephen, from my perspective, absent from the discussion about wage growth has been the incredible increase in benefits as a percentage of wages. Obviously, things like healthcare benefits, 401k, even bonuses are not counted in the wage number, and that has increased from 16%, years ago to it's like something like 40% of wages right now. Do you think we're due for a recalculation in the way that we look at wages to take into account these benefits so that people can better understand that they are actually doing better than the numbers that are reported?
Yeah, well, first of all, people understand, their own personal finances.
Oh, I don't think that they do.
Know, right? So, in other words, they know that what kind of benefits they're getting. They know what their wages and salaries are. They know what kind of pension benefits and medical benefits and so on they're receiving. And that's why, the number that really is devastating to the left when they make these arguments about, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. 71% of Americans now feel, that's according to the CNN, which is hardly, pro-Trump, 71% believe the economy is good or great, and they're positive about their personal, financial future. So that, if that number holds up anywhere near that number for the next year and a half, Trump will win about a 40-state re-election landslide. People don't vote against prosperity, and they don't vote against policies that are working for them. By the way, there was a great analysis that was recently done on this issue of the rich getting richer, of the major dynastic families in America, the Rockefellers, the J.P. Morgans, the Vanderbilts, the Ford family, the Carnegies. And what it found was that over 2 generations, even the very, very, very richest in the world, after 2 generations, the wealth is dissipating.
Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. There's a phrase for that worldwide. In Asia, it's rice paddies to rice paddies in 3 generations.
Yeah, the 3rd generation always mucks it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what happened was this gentleman did an analysis because the IRS records who are the 400 wealthiest families in America. And they looked at that data over something like 25 or 30 years. And what they found is 30 years later, of the 400 wealthiest families, only I don't remember the exact number, but it was something like only about 40 were still in that category. So think about that. That means 90% moved out and new people moved in. And that's what you want with a vibrant economy. You want, you don't want an economy where you have just people living on, wealth and so on. You want new generations of innovation and products and services that take over for the old ones. And so John D. Rockefeller was probably the richest person who ever walked on the planet, and yet there aren't many Rockefellers left with much money.
And on the other side of it, equity, since that's the watchword of the left, with respect to taxation, Joint Committee on Taxation report shows the 2017 tax cuts reduced average federal income tax rates on people at every income level. So again, everyone saw a reduction, and that's another thing for President Trump to tout in terms of promises made and promises kept in 20.
Let me address that because it's a great point. So, and this is a point you guys were making earlier, that if you just look at the, after tax, if you just look at the tax cut people got, that was significant. That was about $2,000 per middle class family, which, is not crumbs. I don't care what Nancy Pelosi says. That means a lot to a family that earns $50,000 a year. But then if you look at increased benefits, because, a lot of companies paid more benefits to keep workers. And then if you look at things like the increase in pay that people got because the economy is doing better, we estimated here the average family got about $4,000 richer. That's a lot in 2.5 years. To have their incomes go up by $4,000 in 2.5 years. So we're off to a great start. And by the way, the economy is not slowing down; it's picking up. And incidentally, don't forget also the stock market is up 40% since Trump took office. So add the increase in pension accounts and 401k accounts. I mean, people are doing a lot better today than they were when we had a community organizer in the White House.
Now, Steve, I'm going to offer my services Ray Donovan style here. I understand you're having some problems with Senators Graham and Collins and maybe Ernst with respect to your nomination to the Fed board. Would you like me to get Rocco and Moose and fly out to D.C. for some conversations?
Well, look, the fact is, this is going to be about a 3-month process, and so we're just at the beginning stages of this. I think when I have my chance to actually go before the Senate and make my case about economic growth and how we can continue this phenomenal economy that Trump has created by stable money, by the continuation of reduced taxes and so on, I think people will be for me. I mean, the thing that's been disappointing about this whole process to me, guys, is that nobody has asked me about the economy very much. They know they can't beat me on my economic ideas, so they're digging up literally, Christmas letters I wrote 20 years ago that were, basically just spoof columns, making fun of everyone, including ourselves. And the left is so stupid, by the way. They take everything so literally that they're acting like, a spoof newsletter reflects my political views. There's another one I'll just mention that's on the news now. I think it's on the news today that Steve Moore wants to get rid of child labor laws. Now, Dan, you've heard me talk a lot because we've been at events together. One of my pet peeves is I do think it would be very beneficial for the next generation to get kids working at an earlier age, a paper route, or working. People who work on a farm, they start working at 11 or 12 years old.
I made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the kitchen of a day camp when I was 12 years old, and you know what happened to me?
How old were you?
12 years old. I was 12, and I never.
That's a violation of the child
and
labor
I
laws.
never.
We can't have you making sandwiches at 12 years old. I mean, this is exactly my point.
Well, Steve,
everyone knows me. I'm not talking about. And I did say, I was just I like to make points, everyone knows I'm not saying we should get rid of child labor laws. What I'm saying is we should allow people to, kids 13, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old to work a little bit. It'll pay off in big time, when they're in their 20s and 30s. And the evidence is very clear on that. The earlier you start getting a work ethic and, learn job skills, the better off you're going to be. And so there's, oh my God, Steve Moore wants to go back to sweatshops and so on. I mean, it's just such an exaggeration.
I can tell you, Stephen, that what I learned from making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in a day camp when I was 12 is that I never wanted to make another peanut butter and jelly sandwich as a job or frankly as a human being ever again in my life. It was the most motivating thing that ever happened.
Now, by contrast,
I took a year off when I was between my freshman and sophomore years of college, and I worked for a year, and I worked in a warehouse. And, it was a great experience, but I came away with it from the same thing. I better get serious about my schooling because I don't want to work in a warehouse for the rest of my life. That's a good lesson of life.
By contrast, I was forced to start caddying when I was 11, and I had my parents imprisoned. So, everybody takes it different. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, chief economist for CNN. Steve, thanks for joining us, and we'll continue monitoring your nomination there. Thanks, Steve. You joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Tell me if this is you. There's an outdoor project that you've been wanting to get done, but you just don't have the time or patience to deal with unprofessional contractors. It's a common theme of frustration. You need AM Woodland Outdoor Design for a professional design and a team that will show up on time to get the job done. They'll even let you know throughout the project how everything's going. Imagine that. When you're ready to liven up your curb appeal or completely redesign your outdoor living space, the perfect solution? AM Woodland Design. With so many landscape contractor options to choose from, use a team that shares your values of hard work, honesty, integrity, and patriotism. AM Woodland Outdoor Design proudly sponsors Food for the Poor as a business benefactor and would be honored to work with you.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
The company began when Windows 95 was still singing Start Me Up and Novell servers were in vogue. Always learning since the day the doors opened and consistently finding technological solutions for those they serve. They've been through more iterations of operating systems than one would care to remember. Constantly changing and evolving to stay best in technological breed for decades. People serving people and leaving technological footprints for nearly 25 years. They're not afraid of technology and embrace its ever-changing life cycle. They know IT, they live IT, and they want to be your information technology partner. From help desk to Office 365 to desktop support and cloud solutions, they've got you covered. Turnkey IT, to make your company better, stronger, and ready to compete and win. Turnkey.pro.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
It just makes my body feel like I can function. I'm not in as much pain, and I feel happy, and my skin is glowing. So what else can I say? What's better than your skin glowing? For a woman of almost 70 years old, what's better than your skin having that glow, that youthful glow?
From now until May 10th, receive a 15% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. And just in time for Mother's Day, receive an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. This offer will end on May 10th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spervery's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day. You can recover. Discover hope and help.
Never give up on yourself.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The White House will not cooperate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, refusing to hand over what a top House Democrat demands in one of the Trump investigations. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
House Democrats want documents related to the security clearances of Trump administration officials. In a 9-page letter to House Oversight Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings, the White House counsel said the panel's request for individual FBI background investigation files showed a total disregard for individual privacy and called the committee's document requests highly improper. Cummings has defended the panel's request for documents as constitutional and part of the committee's oversight responsibilities. Dave?
John, next hour, Attorney General Barr will face new questions at the Senate over a letter he got from the special counsel taking issue with Barr's summary of his investigations report causing public confusion.
Mueller reportedly writes that the summary, quote, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of his work. But a spokesperson for the DOJ tells Fox News that the special counsel didn't find anything in Barr's March 24th letter to be inaccurate or misleading. Rather, Mueller expressed frustration over the media coverage and lack of context regarding his obstruction of justice analysis.
Fox's Sean Langell. Barr could skip tomorrow's House hearing in a dispute over who can ask him questions if he doesn't go. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell wants Barr impeached. The day after Venezuela's disputed president went on state TV to say an uprising had been defeated, the U.S.-backed opposition leaders calling for more protests. National Security Advisor Bolton told Fox Russia and China are intervening to help keep Maduro in power.
You heard the president's tweet last night on a possible embargo if the Cubans don't stop the violence. There's a lot at stake here.
What was the motive? That's the question the day after a shooting at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, that left 2 dead, 4 injured. Students ran in panic.
I took the girl next to me and we hid in the nearest men's restroom.
The accused shooter, Tristan Terrell, is also a student. His grandfather reacted in shock, saying this is not in his DNA. This is Fox News.
Rain showers, 50 degrees, and a lightening of the sky for the moment, but it's been a problem morning here in the Chicago area. Roads closed because of flooding at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, we're hearing problems in Orland Park and Lombard. Jim Telemonte has been telling you about that. O'Hare and Midway airports, flights canceled. Flash flood watches up for much of the reason until 11 a.m. And there are several feet of water flooding through downtown Davenport, Iowa this morning, after the Mississippi River breached a temporary levee.
It's like typically a high-grade sandbagging process. So you figure they're up for a long period of time. They're not designed as a permanent fix, and they just wore away.
Davenport, Iowa Mayor Frank Klippich says the waters continue to rise through the central business district. 2 groups of union workers in Chicago are hitting the picket lines today, technical staff at the city colleges of Chicago. Jesse Smollett's future on Empire is now officially in doubt. Fox Network has renewed the show for a 6th season. Production is returning to Chicago, but there are no plans for Smollett's character to return to the show. The actor was written out of the final 2 episodes of last season after staging a racist and homophobic attack in Chicago earlier this year. Hundreds across Illinois are dealing with citations as sheriff's deputies across the state stepped up enforcement of Scott's Law. During the month of April, deputies in 36 counties issued nearly 450 violations. Cubs over the Mariners 6-5. Sox and Orioles with a twilight doubleheader today after yesterday's contest was rained out. 8:03, time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call PermaSeal. 800-421-SEAL. And time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Apple's winter quarter was weaker as expected. iPhone sales slipped, though the company's seeing business start to improve in China, where it has cut prices. Business picked up in recent months at Taco Bell and KFC. Parent company Yum Brands is reporting a better-than-expected quarter. The company also owns Pizza Hut, which reported flat sales. Hilton Worldwide's business improved in the winter quarter. It was stronger than expected, but Clorox says it is facing stiffer competition and sales are declining for products, including trash bags. Healthcare company Humana is reporting stronger than expected earnings, and it's upbeat about its business this year. Humana says it was helped by its Medicare Advantage business, and it expects membership of those plans to grow 14%. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Without the rule of law, we're nothing.
The Joe Walsh Show.
And what makes me sad today is it's all tribal. What side you on? Right now, we got a king in the White House. We got a guy who believes that the laws don't apply to him. And so we're asked all the time, are you with him or are you against him? I'm with the Constitution. I believe in open and transparent government. I believe in a government that leaves me the hell alone. What team does that put me on? Whose tribe am I a part of?
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. I could talk to you all day about how I feel about Townstone's service, low closing costs, and great rates. But how about listening to one of our customers?
My name's Elisa French. We've had such good experience with Townstone Financial and specifically Barry Sterner that when my mom was looking to move to Chicago, the first thing I said to her was, she had to call Townstone and got in touch with Barry Sterner, which again, amazing relationship. My sisters, when I am able to ask a question and I have many questions, when it comes to this, he really almost holds my hand with his knowledge and explains in such an easy way, and it makes me feel comfortable. So it's easy for me to recommend him.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
8:07 and a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
In Orland Park, Southwest Highway is flooded at 135th and 143rd. Same goes for Wolf, 143rd to 151st. Crossroads are flooded too. Flooding situation as well in Lombard. 53 is closed. Park to Butterfield. Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy, an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Quicker the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes. 390 to downtown. 45 minutes from Manheim. How about an hour and 10 minutes to 390? Stevenson, an hour 15, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 45. Heavy delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial, the Des Plaines River Bridge, St. Charles, the Army Trail toll to 290. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A flash flood watch in effect this morning. Rain and a thunderstorm this morning and afternoon. High today 60. Overcast tonight, low 42. Periods of rain tomorrow, the high 55. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
50 at O'Hare. Officially partly sunny skies at O'Hare. That's improving news. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Carol Roth. She a recovering investment banker, a podcaster, The Roth Effect, a frequent guest on Fox and Fox Business. And Carol, you familiar with this guy, Mark Cuban? You probably know him from Sharknado 3. He played the president. He's a bit of an actor.
Yes, I know, just a little bit aware of him.
He also
He's a very under the radar guy. He's not the kind of guy who likes to draw a lot of attention to himself. But despite the fact that he tries to keep the shield around him, I do have some familiarity. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's coming to Judson University. Friend of the show. Judson University welcoming tech entrepreneur, Mavericks owner, Shark Tank investor Mark Cuban to campus for a special event Thursday, May 16th at lunchtime. Thursday, May 16th, 12:30 p.m. Conversations with Mark Vargas, who is a Judson University graduate, is a new addition to Judson University's World Leaders Forum. There is a few remaining VIP meet and greet tickets with Mark Cuban at Judson University. Ann Coulter hasn't snapped them all up yet. Get your event tickets now at judsonu.edu. That's judsonu.edu, and we're pleased to be joined now by Mark Vargas. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Carol. Thanks for having me on.
So does this count as a conversation with Mark Vargas for the purposes of Judson University? Mark Cuban, why Mark Cuban for your inaugural conversation at Judson?
Yeah, no, great question. And, Mark and I have become really close friends over the last couple of years. And when Dr. Kroom presented this opportunity about, why not put together a Conversations with Mark Vargas speaker series at Judson, I couldn't think of a better person to really help me launch this new speaker series. So I reached out to Mark and I said, how in the heck does the son of a truck driver grow up and have friends like Mark Cuban? And I said, I'm going to be launching this brand new speaker series, and it's going to be an intimate one-on-one conversation where we're going to talk about life, business, politics, inspiring stories, and more. And I said, Mark, I would be honored if you would be my first guest. And he immediately responded and said, I'm in. Let's do it in May.
Can you do me a favor and require that he wear a collared shirt like an adult to the event?
That's right. Yeah, and he's spoken so much about how he doesn't like anyone that wears suits. So clearly, on May 16th, you won't find me wearing a suit.
It's amazing. I love the fact that you mentioned that you're the son of a truck driver, and this whole conversation that Dan and I have been having this morning about upward mobility. What is it in terms of this conversation that you want the audience to walk away with? Is it a message of economic mobility? Is it a message of, this is America where there's capitalism and anything can happen? What's your point of view going into it?
That's a great question. And, Mark has an inspiring story. He very blue collar upbringing in Pittsburgh. He sold garbage bags door to door when he was 14. So he's always had that entrepreneurial spirit. But, Mark is really just a normal guy. He doesn't travel around with bodyguards. If he meets you, whenever we meet for breakfast or lunch, he just pops up by himself. And so even though he's got this oversized personality, he really is a normal guy. But the difference with this Conversations new series is that unlike any other series, a speaker, you're working through a speaker's bureau, they're giving prepared remarks. every guest that I invite, and they'll be the most recognizable names in business and politics and media, they're all going to be personal friends of mine. So I'm going to be reaching into my own personal Rolodex. And so the audience is going to be able to really see the camaraderie and the level of comfort between my guest and I, because
well, that's great.
We'll be friends.
Well, that's great. Then you can ask him in a very friendly way how he thinks J.J. Barea and Tim Hardaway are going to be enough to make the Dallas Mavericks competitive in the West, because that's a joke. What the hell's going on with the Mavericks, Cuban? That'd be my first question.
This was a tough season, and saying goodbye to the Dirk. A lot of people don't realize it's really difficult to get Mark to come out to an event. His schedule is the NBA season for Mark really starts in August, and then he takes about 3 weeks off every September to go to LA to film Shark Tank, and then October through April is all NBA preseason, season, postseason, and then in June and July he really takes time off.
Yeah.
He really takes time to spend time with his kids. So May is the only time to really get him to come out. And so I'm really excited that he's flying out just for this event from Dallas.
So, Mark, given the fact that you guys are so close, are you surprised that he didn't toss his name into the ring politically to run for president? Because it hasn't stopped anybody else from doing so. And I know that he's expressed some interest in politics in the past. So what's the inside scoop on that?
Well, we've talked about this a lot, the two of us, and it's actually going to be one of the questions that I'm going to ask Mark during this series.
Oh, it could be an announcement. Could be an announcement on May 16th.
You never know. But it more than just why do you want to run for president? What would be your top items, your key policy issues? And where was that switch from being an entrepreneur, investor, Shah of Shark Tank to then wanting to dip into presidential politics? So it's certainly going to be a question that we'll address during the speaker series.
Yeah, I'd also like to ask him too. Shark Tank, he's a capitalist, billionaire, NBA team owner. What's with you and your friends on the left who don't believe in theory what they do in practice? In practice, you're a capitalist. In theory, you're a Democrat capitalist, whatever that is. You're a Democrat socialist, whatever that is. You're a government-centric thinker politically, but that's not how you live your life. Explain the dichotomy.
Well, you know what, Dan? I will keep that in mind, and
sure.
I'll say Dan Proft.
Please do.
Has a couple of questions for you.
Please do.
And
Skype me in.
And I hope you'll be there for that, Dan.
I am. I'm going to be disruptive, and then I'm going to be dragged out of Judson University.
You're going to be heckling in the audience, Dan.
He really is a middle of the road kind of guy. You don't see Mark actually really come out. I mean, he did come out for Hillary Clinton, but you don't see him during the 2016 election. But he really is a middle of the road kind of guy in terms of some issues he tends to lean more Democratic, others Republican, but he certainly is a fiscal conservative. And this is no secret. If he were to run for president, he'd run as a Republican. He's talked about that publicly. So it would be interesting to see sort of what a Mark Cuban presidential administration would look like, whether it's in 2020 or 2024.
All right.
Only Mark knows that answer.
All right, and we're going to get the answer on 2020 on May 16th when Mark Cuban makes his way to Judson University. Mark Cuban will sit down with Mark Vargas, our guest. Conversation with Mark Vargas, which is a new addition to Judson University's World Leaders Forum, which is a great speakers program. I've emceed several of the events, including last year, the debate between Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Great programming, good audience, good questions. Judson University always puts on a good event. And again, there's a few remaining VIP meet and greet tickets for the Mark Cuban event at Judson on May 16th, 12:30 p.m. Go to judsonu.edu. That's judsonu.edu. Mark Vargas, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the event. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. And every penny is going towards diversity and entrepreneurship scholarships. So this is very important.
Okay. Good to note that. Thank you, Mark Vargas, who joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position: excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
With summer fast approaching, now's the time to fill your son's schedule with athletics, STEM, and academic enrichment camps at Northridge Prep's summer programs for boys in grades 4 through 8 for the week of June 17th through the 21st. Drop your son off at 9, pick him up at 3 for a full day of fun. In the morning, a choice between basketball skill builder and wrestling technique and strength. In the afternoon, battles of the Civil War or robotics, introduction to mechanical design. That's a full week of sports and experiential learning to keep your son developing his interests and skills this summer. Here's what Chicago Bulls GM Gar Forman had to say about our basketball skill builder camp. Quote, that R being Northridge Preps. Quote, when it comes to teaching offensive skill development in youth basketball, Coach Ray provides as complete and detailed an approach as I've seen. That's Coach Will Ray, D1 coach, coached at Loyola, and he is also the athletic director at Northridge Prep. So you've got expert mentorship in this program. Seats are limited for all camps, and some, like the Dangerous Camp for Boys, are already 100% filled up. So learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org/summer. That's northridgeprep.org/summer.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
Admit it, none of us are eating enough fruits and vegetables on our own, so that's why Balance of Nature is so great. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule. It helps with muscle soreness. It helps boost your energy, helps improve your immune system. It's really great. I love it. You should take it too. And here's what you can do. Just in time for Mother's Day, give the gift of health. Receive an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies that you can purchase. By the way, this offer ends May 10th. So do not wait. Again, from now until May 10th, receive a 15% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature and an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. But again, the offer ends May 10th. Do not wait. Call now, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Carol Roth. We were talking about this notion that Mayor Pete has advanced Democrat socialism, talking about Mark Cuban's appearance at Judson University in May 16th. Also, in the context of the meltdown of Caracas in the country of Venezuela, ruled by Marxist dictators. Carol Roth, who's sitting in for Amy this morning, you have a very interesting piece at Fox News about socialism, about quote-unquote Democrat socialism, trying to discern a definition and how that how you can distinguish democratic socialism from democratic capitalism.
Right. Yeah. So it's the idea came to me that people were trying to dress up socialism, which is this blatantly awful system that has killed think it's like 100 million people within the last 100 years. It has created poverty, misery. And so they thought that they would just dress it up with the word democratic, which I liken to putting lipstick on a pig, although I got yelled at by some people who lived under socialist regimes saying that that was not strong enough. But the point of the matter is that putting democratic in front of it's supposed to make it a kinder, gentler type of socialism.
And also the interesting thing is Mayor Pete putting Democrat in front of capitalism is supposed to make that a kinder, gentler capitalism.
Right.
So Democrat makes socialism kinder and capitalism kinder. I guess it all just melds into the middle and engenders Xanadu somehow.
Right. So if you don't love the word socialism as is, just think about the history of the use of the word democratic and the countries that have used democratic as their descriptors, including the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, which is the fancy name for North Korea, which, by the way, if you want to laugh really hard, go look at their website and what they say about living there. And obviously East Germany was the, they use the democratic descriptor in that as well.
The German Democratic Republic.
You're right, German Democratic Republic.
Right.
So the whole concept that you can take this economic system that was awful and somehow make it kinder and gentler is hilarious. And tying it back into Venezuela, when Hugo Chavez, who was the predecessor of Maduro, who basically took the democratic nation and moved it in the socialist direction, when he was out preaching a populist message of equality, which should sound familiar to everybody, he preached about something that was called, quote, a third way. It wasn't socialism, it wasn't capitalism, it was a blend of the two. So if there isn't a bigger warning out there and a bigger example of what it means when you try to dress up socialism with a fancy name, just take a look at what's happening in Venezuela right now, and that gives you all you need to know about what happens to democratic socialism and what that means as you slide towards more central planning.
And I'll tell you what, it's interesting because they recognize the problem with being tagged with that label, which is why they're trying to redefine it as they redefine anything else. And no better example of that, in addition to your commentary, is this piece by New York Times, in the New York Times, by David Bentley Hart, who is, of course, affiliated with Notre Dame. Can we please relax about quote-unquote socialism? Stop getting all worked up, Carol. Only in America, as they say, writes Mr. Bentley Hart. Only here is the word socialism freighted with so much perceived menace.
Yes, only here, not in all of the places where it's caused misery worldwide and where it's failed every single time it's tried. But just here is where we're having a problem with it.
It's just a word. Hart writes, I take this to be a symptom of our unique national genius for stupidity. In every other free society with a functioning market economy, socialism is an ordinary, rather general term for sane and compassionate governance of the public purse.
No such thing.
For the purpose of promoting general welfare and a more widespread share in national prosperity.
So I have a piece that's coming out actually today on Fox Business about the difference between good intentions and outcomes and tying in Venezuela. And that's what it's always sold at. It's always sold with the good intentions that we're here. We're the government and we're here to help.
It's going to be different this time.
It's going to be different. We're smart. We know how to implement it. But the structure of the system, first of all, obviously, there's the freedoms and the fact that it violates individual rights. And then there's the economic failure that no group of people have the capacity to efficiently allocate resources the way the market does. So on both sides, it's set up for failure, and it ends up devolving from this good intention into something that's horrible that we can see playing out in real time in Venezuela right now.
By the way, I must say this in the interest of fair play. The question, are all Democrats socialists? Don't believe the hype. The question, are all Democrats socialists? Don't believe the hype is the answer. The Wall Street Journal the other day by two authors. One is an author of thriller novels, and he's sort of an informal advisor to the left. The other, co-author, Jordan Peterson. And this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal is complete pap. Jordan Peterson should be embarrassed to have his name attached to it. It is absurd.
Give me the quick summary on this.
Hey, the Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, Omar, Bernie Sanders, everybody else identifying as a Democrat socialist, the positions for reparations and the deindustrialization of America and the elimination of private health insurance as proposed by Kamala Harris, among others. Hey, that's 1% of the Democrat Party. They're not social. That's marginal. Really?
I just look at the philosophies that they're always about putting the collective and this idea of a greater good, whatever that means, above the rights of the individual. So by definition, that means that they are socialist or at least collectivist in their heart.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg skillfully laying out the case for Democrat capitalism, or Amy Klobuchar informing a college audience that everyone doesn't get a free 4-year ride. Oh, wow.
She's
wow,
so
is that heroic?
mean. She's so mean. She's going to throw things at you, and she's not going to give you free college. The horror.
Nancy Pelosi dismissing the GND as the green dream. That means that they're not on board. Well, yes, they are. Oh, absolutely, yes, they are. I mean, I can't, but I don't know what's happening to Jordan Peterson. You know, sometimes, you become an international sensation, and you want to make sure people don't perceive you as sort of on one side or the other. These arguments,
right. Forget about having principles. That would be a horrible thing.
Well, I really like Jordan Peterson on so many levels. I think he's an interesting thinker. This is unworthy of his mental acuity. This piece.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I know surface level about him. I don't know enough about him to be able to advocate one way or another. But the piece sounds blatantly awful.
Frank in Naperville.
You know, you have to take a play out of the Democrats' page out of the Democrats' playbook and show real victims of this stuff. You know, show the guy that I met whose family's tobacco farm was taken over in Cuba, and the father was put in a pit with a Nor up to his neck. I mean, we have to really put a face in a story about what's really going to happen under these people.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Frank.
We have to do that, but at the same time, what they always say is it's different, we're smarter, we're America, it's going to be implemented differently, which we all know is, no pun intended, back to the comment, is hogwash.
Right, and take a look at, all you have to do is point your friends to online videos of the streets of Caracas, and then point them to pieces I've tweeted out that are increasingly prevalent, about the policy choices that have been made by the despots in Venezuela, price controls, ban on private ownership of guns, positions that are taken by what is called the moderates of the Democrat Socialist Party in America.
Right, and basically it's saying that we need to be focused on equality, and we know what's best, and we're from the government, and we're gonna sort this out because we're doing this in the interest of the people, and they've completely obliterated the economic system for everybody.
We're going to continue this conversation in a domestic political contest, Talk 2020 election with Ed Morrissey at hotair.com at 8:38. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Partly sunny skies for most, a little rain for others. Still some dangerous weather conditions. 8:32 on AM 560, The Answer. The rain causing major flooding problems in the area. Orland Park and Lombard. Flights are canceled, and a flood watch issued for much of the region until 11 a.m. Attorney General Bill Barr will defend his handling of the Mueller report when he testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee this morning. A 22-year-old man is accused of killing 2 students at UNC Charlotte and is being charged with murder. 4 others were hurt in that campus shooting at building on the last day of classes before finals. UNCC Chancellor Phil Dubois says it will take the school time to recover.
We haven't had time to process yet how we'll bring our community together, but whatever we do, we're going to do it together. That's the way the Niners are, and we'll get through this, but it's going to be painful.
Tristan Terrell is charged with 2 counts of murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. South Central U.S. cleaning up after dozens of tornadoes tore through the region. 25 tornadoes sprouting up over Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. Venezuelans filling the streets of Caracas today in what opposition leader Juan Guaido promises will be the largest march against the president, Nicolas Maduro, in that country's history. A multi-day sentencing hearing wraps up today for a suburban Chicago man convicted of terrorism for trying to detonate what he thought was a powerful bomb next to a crowded bar. After 2 days of testimony for the prosecution, attorneys for Adel Daoud get their chance today to call witnesses. Kyle Schwarber, a big go-ahead 2-run home run. Cubs edge the Mariners 6-5 in Seattle. White Sox and Orioles will play a twilight doubleheader today in Chicago after last night was rained out. We'll see if they get this one in today. The news service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is not the biggest fan of social media.
I don't want to do Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm sorry. People spend more time apologizing and taking stuff down and getting blasted. I hate it. That's why I only post animal videos. I only post cute puppy pictures and videos on Twitter. I ain't doing it.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
You're a do-it-yourselfer. You fix things around the house, take care of the yard, wash your car, and run your own business. But wow, when it comes to digital marketing and advertising, things aren't so do-it-yourself. Salem Surround can help. Get started with a free evaluation of your digital presence and some great ideas to increase your online visibility and revenue. Total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com. Connecting you with new customers.
Varicose and spider veins. Wow, what a gift from my mom. She had them, I got them, and not only are they uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but I stopped wearing skirts and shorts because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way my legs looked. When my kids asked me, "What are those things on your legs?" I was done. I finally went to Vein Clinics of America. The procedure took about an hour and I was right back to work. What they're doing with lasers these days is unbelievable. The staff made me feel so comfortable, and the results, well, even my husband has noticed. Vein Clinics of America has been treating vein disease for over 35 years. They're the largest and most experienced in the U.S. Look, I've been doing the commercials for Vein Clinics for years because I really believe in them, and you can trust them too. The best part, my insurance covered the procedure, so stop hiding your legs. Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-375-8900, 800-375-8900. That's 800-375-8900.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
53 remains closed in Lombard due to flooding. Major roads remain closed in Orland Park, including stretches of Southwest Highway and Wolf Road, also Governor's Highway at Richton Park. Traffic is heavy on the southbound Tri-State 21 to Deerfield Road and Balmoral to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound delays are from Southwest Highway to the Grand Avenue Curve. On Adams Tollway heavy 59 to Higgins and Elmhurst to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway 31 most of the way to Washington and 83 to Roosevelt. Northbound Veterans Memorial to the Des Plaines River Bridge to St. Charles. The Army Trail toll to 290. 53 has heavy delays. 8094 eastbound is heavy Torrance to Kennedy Avenue. Westbound Clay to Kennedy. High water in the left lane. Chicago expressways are jammed. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, we'll have some rain and thunderstorms in the forecast through the afternoon, a high near 60. Overcast and 42 overnight. Currently 50 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Carol Roth is in for Amy J this morning. And this race for the Democrat Socialist nomination for president is really up for grabs now that Michael Avenatti is out of the way.
Yes, which is unfortunate. He's actually trying to plot a comeback as we speak.
CNN will be there with him when he's exonerated. Also, some devastating news. I don't know how to break this to you, but on the latest edition of the Delaware Hillbillies, Hunter Biden has broken up with his deceased brother's widow, Haley. They're no longer a thing.
I think you need to walk through that because a deceased brother's widow is hard to process. Do you want to walk through the wonderful soap opera story that we've got going on?
Well,
there?
remember, Beau Biden died from brain cancer in 2015. That was terrible. And apparently his wife, Haley, and Hunter had been having a relationship prior to his death, which I believe is still problematic for some, though I don't know. And that sort of incestuousness, perhaps a bit off-putting, but I guess when
love is love.
Well, and then when the patriarch is Creepshow Joe, I mean, you know.
But I would imagine that this makes the holidays now even more awkward. If it weren't awkward enough that all of a sudden that your dead family member's brother was now having a relationship with his former wife. Now that has broken up, so I would imagine that adds an extra layer of awkwardness to pass the potatoes.
Well, and Hunter Biden, yes. He was apparently dating Haley. Also, he was married to his wife, Kathleen, at the time. In the D.C. divorce filing, Kathleen Biden cited irreconcilable differences to how Hunter spent their money, quote, extravagantly on his own interests, including drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, strip clubs, and gifts for women with whom he has sexual relations, while leaving the family with no funds to pay legitimate bills.
I would say that seems like some irreconcilable differences in my mind.
Yeah, now, again, I mean, Joe can only provide
he can
an
only
example
carry
to the
so much
kids.
of the water by himself, right?
So much. But getting back to politics, too, the big headline for Creepshow Joe yesterday was surging ahead, got a 25-point lead in the national polling on his next closest rival, Bolshevik Bernie. Before everybody who's not incontinent wets themselves over Biden's surging, April of 2015.
Yeah.
Jeb Bush surged to the lead at
in a very low energy way. It was a very low energy surge, a surge nonetheless.
It was a gate. It was a leisurely gate to the head of the pack. 22% Jeb Bush had. Donald Trump had 1%. And it's not just that Donald Trump made up the difference and made it up quickly. Jeb never really even competed for a victory anywhere. But it was also who was at the top and then how that flipped to Trump and Cruz and Kasich at the end.
Well, go back to Barack Obama. I mean, nobody saw that coming early on either.
Right. So, I mean, but I mean, crowded field to crowded field, 2016 Republicans to 2020
right. There's
Democrats.
There's more of an apples to apples there.
Yeah. And so I just, the idea that Biden really represents the center of the Democratic Party, that's the majority. First of all, how far has the center moved left? Because Joe Biden is no moderate, number one. Number two is, no, he doesn't. And he's about to find out, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. It happens from time to time. Let me check myself against an expert. And we're pleased to be joined by Ed Morrissey, who is such a person, senior editor for hotair.com, columnist for the week. Ed, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
So is Creepshow Joe, despite the Neil Kinnock endorsement, which is huge, is he a flash in the pan? Is he going to be flailing by the end of the summer, or do you think he has staying power?
First off, kudos to the Neil Kinnock reference there.
Thank you very much.
I'm old enough to get that one, Dan, and I know that you're not. So you had to be doing your research to make sure that you came up with that one. Look, I think that Joe Biden is a front runner mostly because of name recognition. I don't think that he's a very good campaigner, and I think he's 30 years ago and 12 years ago he proved that. And I think that when it comes down to it, you're right. He doesn't represent where the Democratic Party is today. And I think he represents almost the antithesis of where the Democratic Party is today. For better or worse, I don't think anybody can dispute that. And that's part of what the Democratic Party's problem is here, is that they've got two guys at the top who really don't represent where their party is going, and they've got a whole bunch of people in that race that do represent where their party is going, but they can't get above 10% in most of these polls.
So when you say where the party is going, is that a policy standpoint? Is that a diversity and inclusion standpoint? Where do you think the Democratic Party stands now?
Well, I think that the diversity and inclusion part of that is their policy. I literally think that's policy for them. It is their primary policy. It is far beyond anything else that they're proposing, whether it be, some sort of welfare restructuring or Medicare for all or anything else like that. I think that just the diversity and inclusion issue alone is their primary agenda item. And so if that's the case, and I truly believe that that's the case, then how can you have Joe Biden at the top of a ticket?
Closely followed behind that as their top priority is impeaching Trump and confirming their preordained conclusion that he is an agent of Vlad Putin. And so they were in full conniption fit yesterday when the story broke that Bob Mueller wrote a letter to William Barr saying, hey, I didn't really like your characterization, your summary of my report. It lacked a proper accounting for the nuance in the report on the obstruction issue, despite the fact that the full report was released a few days later, so what's the big deal? But anyway, they think that this is grounds to impeach not only Trump, but Barr now, too. It's impeach everybody. Is the best thing that could happen to Trump for Democrat socialists to find a way to do what their committee chairmen want them to do, which is move to impeach?
Yes. I think the short answer to that is yes, because I think that had the Russia collusion hypothesis borne out in the Mueller report, I think there would have been a groundswell for impeachment among the voters. The problem for House Democrats, especially House Democrats, I would say, is that they sold impeachment on the basis of that. You have Adam Schiff going out there and saying, I've got evidence that Donald Trump is a Russian agent. I've got all the evidence of collusion I need. And so far he hasn't released any of it because Bob Mueller couldn't find any. And having raised those expectations and then having Robert Mueller come back and say, well, there's no evidence of that, they've lost the thread on impeachment. And so if they continue to press it, it's going to not look like they're trying to safeguard American democracy. It's going to look like they're trying to overthrow a legitimate election. And I think that they're going to pay a heavy price at the ballot box in 2020 if they pursue that. And I think you have people like Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer who were around 21 years ago when Republicans tried to do the same thing, realizing that this is a huge mistake, and they're trying to step on the brakes today. The Hill's Alexander Bolton is reporting that Senate Democrats are trying to step on the brakes too, trying to tell them don't push this. And I don't know if they're listening, but at least so far the evidence is they're not.
So when you look at the items that are a big deal with voters today, health care persistently is at the top of the polls. Obviously, the economy is doing well. If it holds up, that's a good thing for Trump. But do you think the fact that the Republicans have not done anything in terms of coming up with even the semblance, the sketches of a potential health care plan that could potentially pass, do you think that ends up being an albatross for Trump?
I don't think that the health care issue will be as much of an albatross as if they don't concentrate on the economy the next time around. The problem, I think, in 2018, was that rather than focus on all the great things that were happening in the economy, they suddenly made immigration and the crisis the centerpiece of that midterm election, and I think that ended up being a loser for them. I think that it rather than focus on the stuff that they had been doing that was working, that was great. In fact, that was really one of the few things that they got done. They basically were running and saying, we didn't get anything done on this yet. We didn't get anything done on this yet. At least that's the way it came across. And I think that it sort of unleashed the type of rhetoric that puts off people in suburban districts. And that's the reason why you saw this sort of retrenchment. And I think the Brett Kavanaugh thing probably saved them from an even deeper loss in the midterms on that basis. If they don't come back around and start talking about the economy in 2020, and if they start doing this crisis sort of thing again, I think voters can reasonably say, well, then what did we elect you for? Maybe we should change horses at this point in time. They're going to have to come up with a better message.
Well, no, I certainly don't disagree about talking about the economy's growth and the job creation. But do you think the immigration issue has matured more than it had by the time of November of 2018, where you have a majority of the country and even a lot of Democrats conceding at least that there's a humanitarian crisis at the border, and thus there is an issue that needs to be addressed? And on the one hand, you have President Trump, who's serious about border security, but is also offered compromises that are pretty middle of the road, like the pathway to citizenship or permanent status for 1.8 million Dreamers and those who could have had Dreamer designation. And Beto O'Rourke wants to tear down the walls that are already up in El Paso, and the others, so many of the others, are open borders types. And do you want that regime, or do you want some sort of middle way that I've proposed to address this crisis that I think more people are tuning into?
You know, here's what I think about immigration, is I think that both parties use it to stoke their bases, and even though they may both be talking about, and they are both talking about compromises, neither one really means it. And both sides use inflammatory rhetoric in order to propose maximalist positions, and they sell their bases on it. And it's true of Republicans as much as it's true of Democrats. And I think that people are tired of that, and so even though there is a crisis, I think it's a bit of the boy who cried wolf at this point in time. I think people are just kind of resigned to it, that this is always going to be a crisis. And so I think that if you look at the results of using that messaging in 2018, may have seen the limits of how effective that can be for Republicans, and possibly even for Democrats too, because Democrats weren't running on immigration; they were running on health care, and it resonated.
I want to. Brad Parscale, who's Trump's campaign manager, was on the Sunday Talkies this weekend. Face the Nation. Talked about the 2020 campaign being bigger, badder, and better than 2016. There's been a lot of ink devoted to chaos and the way Trump manages the Oval Office. Where do you get the senses in terms of organization of the Trump campaign and the Republican Party as we're 18 months out from the election? We haven't talked to, and not very few people have talked about that.
I don't really have too much of a sense of it. I would suspect that the organization in the Trump campaign is probably pretty good. They were actually pretty good. I mean, they did things differently in the 2016 cycle than most traditional campaigns would do, but they were organized pretty well, and at least internally they were organized pretty well. I think they're going to have to do a better job of organizing on the ground among voters. They're going to have to do a lot better this time around, because they're probably not going to run into a campaign like Hillary Clinton's again, which was just a terribly designed campaign. And I would at least suspect that Democrats learned a lesson from that and are going to be looking to do something quite a bit different in 2020.
What about in terms of the House and the Senate races? Do you think that they have enough focus on what's going on there? Because that's another thing that doesn't seem like there's quite as much attention on as perhaps should be at this point.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think what the risk that you're running here is that this sort of incorporation of the RNC into the Trump campaign is going to create a lower focus on the House and Senate, and for that matter, the state level campaigns. Now, the constituent Republican parties of the RNC are supposed to focus on the state and local elections, but they send a lot of resources up to the national organization, and they expect to get a lot of organization on the ground, which supports all of these things. And if the RNC is more attuned to whatever the Trump campaign's priorities are, it's a really good possibility that the organization on the ground is going to suffer as a result in those other races. And so that's something that we really want to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
He is Ed Morrissey, senior editor for HotAir.com and columnist for The Week. Ed, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Great to be on with you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
Every time you turn around, there's a new ad on the TV set. Bad drug, call this lawyer. Are you on this, that, or the other? And it's all the stuff they're promoting the year before. I've got stomach issues, regular arthritis, people have my age, and I wanted to get better, you know. Anything I can do that's healthy, that's natural, it makes sense. Tell Dr. Howard I really, really appreciate he made this stuff, because I'll tell you, it really makes a big difference. Everything seems to be better.
From now until May 10th, receive a 15% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. And just in time for Mother's Day, receive an extra $10 off any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. This offer will end on May 10th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The school year is rapidly coming to an end, and maybe you're looking back at this past year and you aren't too happy with your child's school experience. Well, now is the perfect time to start thinking about doing something different this fall. Don't send your child back to a school that you just aren't happy with. Start thinking about sending your child to a private school at half the regular price, thanks to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools all over Chicagoland, offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you. Purchase the tuition voucher and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It is that simple. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located throughout the region, including Schaumburg Christian, Westminster Christian in Elgin, Kingswood Academy in Darien, Midwestern Christian Academy in Chicago, Covenant Christian in Aurora, Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Calvin Christian in South Holland, among many others. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers will sell out, so visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
When you need to ship sensitive or large and heavy equipment, the DC Group in Elk Grove has the experience and expertise to handle the biggest and most complicated jobs. DC Export and Domestic Packing, Inc. was founded in 1974 by the husband and wife team of Dominic and Carol Cacciamiglio. Beginning in a building not much bigger than a 4-car garage, the company now boasts 2 Chicago area facilities totaling 100,000 square feet, plus a 45,000 square foot FTZ warehouse in Greenville, South Carolina. Through these facilities and their long-standing agents, they offer nationwide packing, crating, container, and flat rack loading, unloading, as well as warehousing, all with heavy lift capabilities. Other products available include custom-made boxes, crates, skids, and corrosion control solutions. DC Transport was founded in 1991 to meet the growing needs of their customers and provide transportation services throughout North America. From container drayage to super heavy haul loads, DC Transport can help you move just about anything. Go to dcexport.com for more info and to get in touch. dcexport.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman and Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman and Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Carol Roth and for Amy, I love stories like this. It took two Good Samaritans 2 hours and $150 to paint a crosswalk that D.C. city government ignored for 6 months. Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't like that other crosswalk where they misspelled school.
No, because the government wasn't doing it.
Oh, that's good.
Easter Sunday, a pedestrian was hit and killed by a car at an intersection blocks away from where this guy had requested a crosswalk be painted. So Ronald Thompson of Anacostia didn't wait anymore. At a vigil for the guy who was killed, he met another guy, and they talked about the same issue of safety in the neighborhood. So they got $150 worth of supplies, and it took 2 hours to paint the crosswalk.
Did they get a citation for not doing it with a license?
Well, that's the whole thing. You're not allowed to do that, so they could get a citation for breaking the law
Right,
by
of
being a
course.
Good Samaritan.
Right, exactly.
Gotta
love the government.
Carol Roth, thanks so much for sitting in for Amy J.
Great being with you, Dan.
I sat in for me, and now we check in with Mike Scott for the headlines.
Rain showers and flooding causing problems in the Chicago area and a flood warning for central Illinois. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
We know what Democrats want to ask him about. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Attorney General Barr is at the Senate for a hearing about